Alright, hello, hello. Welcome back. We are back for some more Torment, Tides of Numenera. So we had a good start yesterday, and why don't we just keep this going? We have so much talking to do, so much of the lore to discover. I'm really enjoying just talking to people and learning the worlds. Like, that's been the most interesting part of this game. I mean, but like that's usually is for these types of games, it feels like. All right, so we are in whatever the cliffs, something cliffs. We're in Circus Minor, and we're just gonna keep talking to people. Oh, I forgot, I wanted to talk to you too. Don't talk to me, talk to the boss. Oh, good, because I wanted to talk to you.
Thanks for taking me on, lad. Always good to have a friend watching your back, huh? Now, what can I do for you?
I'd like to ask you more about helping Riss. Yeah, okay. I don't know if you had anything new to say. Tell me about yourself. Sure. So you're a captain. Retired. I've been on my own, more or less, for a handful of decades now. Still, having a captaincy under your belt opens doors, lifts dresses, and drops trousers, so I tend to wave it around whenever I can. That's a great phrase. What's your story? Oh, the usual. Farm boy joins one war or another. He doesn't die, but gets a sound spanking by the world until he learns to spank it back. Interesting. I don't blame you, but I'll warn you, I've never had a handle on what people consider too much information. Never looked for one either. Go on, ask your questions. Tell me what life as a soldier. Well, I wasn't the best or the worst, but I started at the bottom, fell out the side, and ended up gallows glass on my own. It's not easy life being a mercenary, but you try to fight for causes you believe in and avoid striking blows that aren't deserved. You try not to fail at both while the realities of life batter you into new shapes. Change you. Change you how? Not one for light questions, are you? My father raised me to be honest. Well, honestly, honesty works on a farm. Raised me to be honest. Honesty works on a farm. Animals don't lie to you much as a rule, but as a soldier, put it like this. First night in my camp, I was mugged by my sergeant and left for dead, all because I thought an honest face meant an honest heart. So, I've adapted my approach over the years. I reward kindness with kindness, cruelty with justice, and foolishness with object lessons on the ways of the world. Everyone has their lessons to learn in this life. Best that you teach yours. Best that your teachers are kind men, I always say. How have the realities of life changed you? No. Who have you fought for? Whew. I've fought for a number of cases over the years. Causes. The first fight was alongside the rugged cattlemen of the Plowshares, trying to keep the slave families of the Sagas Protectorate from getting their hands on the bird folks' grazing lands. But I've been all over the map, and off the edges too, having good times and bad. Went with the Aiulu rebels, the White Company, even fought in the Endless Battle for a while, until I figured out my commander was lying to me. Walked away from a hefty purse on that one, I'll tell you, but it was the right thing to do, and the safest, and the sanest. Yeah, what's the deal with the Endless Battles? Is this like the battle between demons and devils, like that kind of endless battle? It was more nightmare than a war. We marched out one morning to take a certain hill, and we took it. Then a shivery little ripple crossed the field, and we were back on the march, heading for the same hill. Only this time, the other side routed us. I lost this arm. Oh, I did not catch that on your character model, that you're missing an arm. It seems to still be there. You'd think our commander would have given us the rest of the war off, but no. She kept making us fight until the waves of time died down and we took that damn hill and held it. I'm certain I died a few times myself, but here I am, still whole and handsome as ever. So, like, ripples in time, you took the hill, then time rippled and you were back where you started, and that happened multiple times. It does sound like an endless war. What was the point of the endless battle? The fighting itself is pointless. All those lads and lasses dying for a cause centuries old. Now, I know I just described any war, but we both know that Certain people make a tidy profit from bloodshed on a grand scale. And the endless battle? Well, it's endless, and that makes it endlessly profitable. Makes sense. More about your background? No, that was the background. Talk about something else. What are your strengths? Well, I can hold my own in a fight. I've got a gift for words, and as you may have noticed, and I'm not averse to the odd con or two if you spot one worth pulling. What are you doing here? Seeking my fortune, making friends. Well, until this mess with Riss at any rate. Now I guess I'm looking for work, adventure, new opportunities. I want to talk about the people we're traveling with. Gossip and backbite, is it? I'm always game for that. What do you want to talk about? What the hell's Callistige. I met her once before she diversified. Lovely woman, but I'm not sure if more is better in this case. Well, do inform us when you reach a conclusion, darling. My sisters and I yearn for the companions of aging criminals. What is Charming little thing and beautiful in his own way. Is there like some kind of invisible companion that I'm not aware about? What do you want from me? You know what I want. I want you to help me save Riss. Yeah. How you holding up? Never better. Don't you worry. I'm with you to the end. Okay. What the heck is an I don't have any here. Did the game just spoil me of a companion I'm supposed to be getting that's not here yet? Alright, I guess we're talking to a slave boss. I'm sure this will go well. As you approach, the wild-haired woman eyes you speculatively and whispers something to her companions. They burst out laughing, and a slight smirk plays about her lips. A breathing mask dangles from a cord around her neck, and you can see where it has cut permanent grooves into her face. She ruffles her hair, messing it still further, and sings out, "Come to buy a slave cast-off. If you come to me, you must want something of the sort." What do you know I'm a cast-off? The tattoo. I've had dealings with your kind before. I know about you. So, cast-off, I have information you might want. Of course it comes with a price. What kind of information? You think you get it from me that easily? I don't think so. I know your type. You cast-offs, not a one of you can be trusted. I give you this information, you're gone before I can collect my price. So you'll forgive me if I decline to say outright what secrets I hold. How do I even know you have a secret? You could just be lying to me.
I'll remember that.
Quest received. One of my wards has run off. She's taken a head wound, not my doing, and I've been watching after her. I don't know where she's gone, but I suspect she's headed to Cliff's Edge. Plenty of other urchins clamoring about the place, and she'd find it easy to blend in. Sadly, my troop and I are detained here, so we can't go ourselves. She's a scrawny child named of Rin. Head wound, but it's covered by dark, curly hair. Has a little necklace around her throat. Babbles about her gods. Go get her for me, and I'll tell you what you need to know. Answer a few other questions. I'm not about to collect people's slaves. Tell me about yourself. I'm a slaver. I'm the last person you want to make an enemy. I've got a reputation for coming through on my word. Nothing else need concern you. Can you tell me about the Order of Truth? You want to deal with them? Be my guest. Those pompous Aeon priests are up by Government Square. Think they can unlock the secrets of the past, but they're not focusing on what's most important, which is creating for the future. They say they're studying, learning, but the fact is they're not doing anything useful. Don't let them tell you otherwise. Who are you to... You're a freaking slave trader, and they're not focused on the future. That's what you have to say about that situation. Cult of the Changing God. Delusional meaning seekers. They spend their time chasing their imaginary deity, ignoring what it means to be alive. Ooh, what has he done now, they say? Can I tongue his divine arse? As if knowing his life makes theirs any better. They're misguided. The only way to understand life is to experience it. The Perpetual sneer on her face loosens slightly. Not what I expected to hear from someone of your age, but at least you're not entirely stupid. Don't think our shared opinion makes us friend those. I still don't know what these tides mean. I have some questions about slavery. It's not so bad. Not horrific. Almost no one sells them for parts anymore. Fact is, most of them go down to the Bloom, where they can work off their debt to society by opening a maw or two. It's not a forever thing, it's a punishment. Okay, so is slavery like as a debt collection? Don't know what the Bloom is. Work off their debt to society implies they are prisoners, slave prisoners. I have some questions about this place. Ask someone who cares. I think the city's a sewer. Okay. Later. I'm definitely not helping you collect your slave. That's for sure. But
All right.
prisoners as a slave. The genocide.
Why not?
Alright, should we go see what this giant fish tank is?
Fine.
El Jinto. Kinda do. This large, bald, broad-shouldered man turns to face you. You freeze. It's not his dark cloak or his sledgehammer. It's that beneath his mustache and goatee, he is so ugly that he'd scare his own mother in a dark alley. That's brutal. He gives you an abrupt nod, and you get the distinct impression that here stands a man who enjoys the boredom of standing guard and the company of his own thoughts. Nothing to see here until you pay El Jinto. What is that thing? A Nycthamaron. El Jinto will tell you about it. How'd you capture it? Long story. Ask El Jinto. He's the talker. I watch the beast. How does the cage hold it? Don't know. El Jinto built it. Where do you and your partner come from? Gives you the distinct impression you're making him work harder than he'd like. Lauric, a city in the beyond, packed with blood-mad priests, giant razor cats, and drit. Lots of drit. I don't miss it, but El Jinto does. If you want stories, he's the one to ask. I'm bothering this guy, and I'm fine with it. Seems like he does all the work in your partnership. He should. He gets the larger share. I'm just the muscle. He's the, Wait for him to finish. He's the handyman, he says at last. He's handy at building stuff, wrangling extra shins from the gawkers, charming free food. He works hard. I pay him an extra share so I don't have to. So I have time to think. I pay him an extra share. So you're actually the guy in charge here, despite you just being the muscle. Interesting. Where is El Jinto anyway? The guy right next to me? Yeah. A few questions about the city. Ask somebody who lives here. We're not experts on any city, and we don't want to be. Looking for someone who can repair a device. We don't know anyone like that. We aren't from around here. How are we doing on experience, by the way? 164 of 180. So yeah, we get 2 experience for those dialogue options. 2. So that's like a very small, that's, you know, essentially 1%. So I don't know how much, what's like max level or anything here, but that's, again, it seems like a pointless amount of experience we get. In front of you is a weary traveler whose grim visage is mostly obscured by a pointy hat. Upon closer inspection, the lines on his face indicate he has seen much and has many tales to tell. Hello there, friend. Here to see the Nycthamaron? My friend in the cage over there. Or are you just looking to spend a word or two? I'm looking for someone who can repair a complicated device. It must be in desperate shape if you're patrolling the circus talking to strangers. You have a piece of the device. Might be that I can offer my opinion. Yeah, I have this shard of the crystal. He accepts the crystal shard with great care, turning it over and over in his cracked hands. In the silence, you catch a hint of wood smoke and notice that his eyes have turned slay gray. Living crystal, seeking a greater whole, still warm, maybe alive, maybe thinking. Interesting piece of tech, but not one I know much about. Sorry, friend. Try asking around some more. That's interesting. Canada told me a little about your past. Do you have any interesting stories? Interesting. Well, I'll let you be the arbiter of that, friend. What would you like to hear about? I said you came from Lauric. Ah, my former and future home. Canadu and I were born in the gray outskirts of the city. I'd like to say we were childhood friends, but we weren't. We simply came to know each other through what we lost. The priests of the million gods of Lauric wandered the streets seeking sacrifices, you see, and opposing them is a sin. In our first 10 years, they claimed our parents, then our friends, and then one day, a pockmarked priest came for me. He hauled me up the glass-paved streets. I wept and screamed, but the faithful and the fearful turned away. I'd almost lost hope when I heard the hammer scraping on the glass. Up charged Canadu, bearing his father's sledgehammer. With a shout, he dashed the priest's brains from his skull, and we ran. And we've been running ever since, but we will return one day, I think, armed for the occasion. What happened after you escaped? Years of struggle. Years without measure. After Lauric, we lived from meal to meal, eating only what we could steal. Canadu grew into his strength, and I grew, but less obviously. I began studying, you see. I read ancient texts about my lost home and the sickness that possesses it to this day. I thought about how I could cure it. So we began exploring ruins. We sold the broken relics we found for food and equipment, kept the interesting ones for future study. To tell you all the adventures we had in those days would take almost as many years as I've been alive, if not more. If that doesn't make sense to you, then you've not traveled far into the depths of the beyond. Some of the ruins there lie outside time, and we searched countless places for components I needed for my trap. Yes, the one our guest is contained in, and we headed east into the Clock of Kala. The what? A ring of mountains between here and the beyond. A land of glorious and lethal wonders. I'm looking forward to going through it again. We easily spent a decade searching the base of the peaks for the final parts of the trap. At least, we heard a rumor, a horde of ghosts occasionally stampeded through the lands of Augur Kala, bearing relics and smearing reality in their wake. This last detail was what interested me. I created a device, a bell of sorts, that would attract the ghosts' attention. And when they came, there stood Canadu, hammer ready. The bell drew them, you see, but it also made them more real. Canadu waded into the ghosts, striking them down. The rest fled, but we found the materials I needed for the trap. The trap I'll use to capture a god. Beneath Lauric lies a mad being who demands the sacrifice of mothers, fathers, and children. Once we free our guest here, we will return home with this trap. We'll use it to kidnap a god or die trying. Once we free our guest here. What? I don't understand you. So, you made this trap, and you trapped whatever this is, but you're gonna let it go to capture a god instead? What's the point of capturing this? I'm so confused. Thank you for taking an interest in an old man's stories. I'd like to return the favor. Normally, we charge quite a bit for visits to the Nycthemaeron's cage. You, my friend, can see it for free. That's nice. I have some questions about the thing. He's far from mine, friend, as you'll likely see if I get too close to his cage. What is it? A biomechanical union of stubborn curiosity and frothing malice. Who made them, no one can say, but they cannot be trusted or befriended. Cross their paths or thwart their incomprehensible whims, and they'll kill you if they can. He called it a he. Is it male? Could be female, or genderless, or many-gendered. Who can say? I have our friend imprisoned, and I feel better about the fact that I don't call him it. How did you capture it? I suppose you could blame luck, Little early to call it good or bad, though. I was working on the trap we've spoken so much about, in a valley through some nameless ruin. Xanadu was off hunting for dinner, and I work in a daze. Always do when I'm concentrating. Near sunset, the trap was still in pieces, and I heard Xanadu roaring my name. I turned just in time to see our guest bearing down on me. The creature's volley of molten energy cracked off the personal barrier I'd left active while building the trap, but I knew it couldn't hold. Then, Xanadu leapt off the valley edge onto the back, bashing it with his hammer. It shrieked, and then night fell, and the creature went still. I worked, a touch frantically, I admit, to finish the trap. It hadn't been designed for our guest, but as you can see, it worked. How'd you get the creature into the city? A fair question, but a longer answer, and not as interesting as I'd like. Let's just say that the trap is more collapsible than it appears. What are you going to do after you're done showing it off? We're likely to release it and run as if every kind of demon in the world is after us. We're not trappers, see? We're explorers, and we're only in this to save up some coin for a journey across a long patch of ground. Not that our motives make much difference to our guest. He'll want to boil our skins once we let him go, and I can't say I blame him. Weird. So you kind of accidentally captured this thing.
I'm ready.
The cage in which the creature floats is a simple frame that contains a shimmering, nearly transparent cylinder of energy. It emits a low hum, barely audible, that sets your teeth on edge. The container is a delicate filigree of ornate materials with no apparent controls, but surely they must be hidden somewhere in the traceries and protrusions of the wirework. You approach the cage cautiously. The monster within looks like a fungal blob mated with a muscular ichthyoid. Its multiple tentacles terminate in syringes, needles, and injectors. This mass sits atop and is integrated with a floating orb of some kind. It seems to be both mechanical and biological, with one system floating smoothly into the next, a creation from some mad nightmare. The energy field darkens protectively and automatically as the creature throws itself at its walls, thrashing and striking mindlessly with its needle-tipped tentacles. The darkening is almost a strobe-like effect. Even as you watch, one of the tentacles coils back and blasts furious plasma at the walls of its cage. The cage holds, but the shield's dim to prevent any radiation from the blast escaping. Let's examine the cage. The cage appears to be made of a mixture of synth, spun strong glass, and a lightweight material, intricately embroidered to create mind-warping patterns, evocative and strange. Energy shifts and flickers among the devices, or the crevices, somehow being shaped by the form of the materials. Your closer examination reveals a small panel worked cunningly into the frame of the cargo. Some of the filigrees here are worn and smooth, as if slowly eroded by friction. Perhaps these are the controls. I'm not touching it. Step back from the cage. What are you? How did you come to be here? What can you tell me of this place? Can you understand me at all? Huh. I'm sure if I was crazy, I could, like, release this thing, but I definitely do not want to do that. Changing God Cultist. So that symbol is the symbol of the Changing God? The humanoid figure, half black, half white. So it's got like a striped motif, half dark, half light.
Ready.
All right, Baleazar. Hi. This thin, fidgeting Aeon Priest shoots furtive sidelong glances at the creature in the nearby cage while humming a nonchalant tune. While he sees that you're watching him, he flinches. Over the course of a few frantic breaths, shock becomes embarrassed anger, and he opens his mouth to shout at you. Yeah, what is it? What is so goddamn fascinating about me that you feel the need to stare? You seem nervous. I'm not. I just don't like it when people sneak up on me. What's the deal with the thing there? What? It's a Nycthemeron, a biomechanical creature. An information gatherer, in fact. They're dangerous, though. You can only speak to them at night. During daylight, they'll attack you without provocation. A living repository of knowledge. I wonder what places it has seen, what it knows. You're planning something, aren't you? Frowning at your words, Beliazar turns to regard you. Then he notices your tattoo and his eyes go wide. I've heard of people like you. What are you doing? No, never mind. You just asked me. I mean, I'm working on something dangerous, and it would be an honor if you could lend me your assistance. I have a device. If someone can get close enough to affix it to the creature's cage, it will activate and teleport the Nycthemeron to the Reef of the Fallen Worlds. And then... Okay, so it would help these guys out because they don't actually want this thing anymore, but they are saving that for later. And then you'll study it, in a manner of speaking. Biomechanical organisms fascinate me, and Nycthemerons doubly so. I've never gotten to examine one up close, so I want you to teleport the creature out of its cage, kill it, and bring me the memory organ. I'm gonna kill it for its brain? I mean, it's not murder if it's a beast, right? How does the device work? I'm not sure. My former colleague found it within the rusted casing of a war machine. I say former because when he activated, he disappeared. We found his remains spread across the reef as if he was hurled at the ground with great force. Now, you might be thinking that this will perish in the same manner, and it might, but I wouldn't count it. On it, the creature can float. You sure you don't know how it works? Not yet. All I know is that when it's activated, it tells for whatever it is attached to the reef. This sounds too easy. I just walk up, plant device, and activate it. If it were that easy, I would do it. But the creature's captors protect its cage, and, well, they've already caught me once. But they won't be watching for you. Tell me you wish to see the beast and plant the device when they're not watching. And if they get caught, don't tell them I sent you. They said they'd lodge a complaint with the Order. You're with the Order. Give me the device and I'll see what I can do. I'm not actually going to do it, I think, though. Be careful. I don't have another one. I might just narc on this guy. But, he's part of the Order, and I think we're supposed to get friendly with them, aren't we? Oh, this is just a guard. I forget. Did we talk to every one of the... Jeez. Every one of these people? Practice might be an abomination. Well, we didn't say... Yeah, let's save. We didn't say the horror of it will deter others from a crime. I don't believe in this. Utter nonsense. Punishment for bad behavior won't change a man. Reward for good behavior is far more effective. If that's what really mattered to the authorities, this is nothing more than a spectacle, an amusement for the masses. If I had any courage... Okay, so you didn't... Okay. I mean, I'm trying to rally you up, right? That was another one of the things, to just get the crowd to let him go. What if I join you? Together we can give the city authorities what they deserve. Join me and let's put an end to it now. End it? Are you saying we should interrupt the execution? You said the punishment should not be allowed. Did you mean it? Can a just man stand by when an injustice is the law? My friend, I'm a coward. I always have been, but you're right. If a man does not stand by his beliefs, what is he? I will do it. So we talk to you, unmoved woman and excited man. So depressing. If it's depressing, why are you watching it? I was just walking by. I don't know why I stopped, really. You're unmoved. Stop by because you want to do something. You want to be the one to make a difference. Me? What can I do? I'm a nobody. All I can do is watch. All you have to do is lead them. They just need a leader. A leader? I've never... No, you're right. That's why I'm here, and somebody has to do something. Why shouldn't that somebody be me? Why shouldn't I be the hero for once? I'm ready. The 4 people you talk to into helping Riss start chanting, free the prisoner, let him go, let him go, let him go, let him go. They advance menacingly on the levies and the overseer. The levies edge back, their normally pleasant expressions turning into uncertain frowns. The overseer points directly at you. I saw what you did, you rabble-rouser. This is your doing. Well, I'm not risking my life to intervene in the fate of a worthless piece of belly trash. If you want him, take him. Unmake the prisoner's death and retreat. He isn't worth our blood. Oh, well, now the authorities don't like me. At his order, one of the levies takes out a device like a circular mirror and squeezes its frame. The mirror spins, flashing shards of light across the death and the umbilical viscera it is wrapping around Riss, and all of it disintegrates. Soon Riss stands alone on the platform as reddish dust swirls away from him. Okay, like his innards? Is he, like, okay? Like, it disintegrated. I thought it'd be, like, go back inside of him. Also, is this guy gonna not eat him?
I'll remember that.
I'll remember that. There, satisfied? With that, he and the levies turn and march away as the crowd surrounds the platform and cheers. Oh boy. I've been rousing some rabbles. Here, oh, okay, there's a opinion modifiers for companions. As the levies march off and the crowd disperses, Riss steadies himself, not quite recovered from his ordeal. Finally, he raises his head and focuses on you. If you're the one who got me out of that nightmare, thank you, but where's that? Where? There you are, you slippery bastard. Now, where's the money? If I went through that hell for nothing, a whole day, Tibber. I spilt my guts there for a whole day. Yeah, about the money. You see, I was hoping to get a reward for turning in the fellow who sold us that brandy without telling us about its secrets, but there's always a but when it comes to money, isn't there? I should have known. You only said you'd pay me so I wouldn't squeal on you. And you only saved my skin to save your own. Now, I'm going to have to fight through your friend to get to you, or are you going to step out from behind him and take it like a man? I mean, I kind of agree with Riss. Like, yeah, work it out yourselves, boys. Good. And he steps nose to nose with Tibber. Now, Captain Silvertongue, why don't you tell me why you left me holding the bag when the levies started pounding on the door? Like a damn abacus you were, just vanished into thin air. Oh, Riss, can you blame me for running when I had a chance? You'd have done the same. And besides, if I hadn't, we both would have been sentenced to death with no one to free either of us. He stabs a finger in his face. You only wanted to free me because you knew you'd be next on the block once the Devourer ate me. Again, that's true. What was the job? Tibber said that we were transporting black market booze to Mra Jolius, but he didn't tell me that he'd hidden state secrets in one of the bottles using some liquid Numenera trick, which turned a slap on the wrist crime into a damn death sentence. Death sentence? You're alive, aren't you? He glares. That's as may be, but you certainly seem to know when the levies were going to come calling. The council somehow got wind of the deal and came after us. Funny how I was the only one home when they knocked on the door. Yeah, I'm with Riss. You should make amends. He's the one who has suffered here. That's right, and you can start by giving my share of the spoils. Riss, you don't know what you're talking about. I never got paid, I promise you. This isn't over, you self-serving bastard. Hide behind your friend if you like, but he won't keep you safe forever. I'm not keeping him safe. You're dead, do you hear me? Dead. Okay, well, that's an outcome. Again, I don't necessarily disagree. Also, did we level up? Advancement available. Not everyone leveled up.
Thanks for helping me free Riss, lad. Not that the little ingrate appreciated it.
So it was like you said, you only freed him so you wouldn't be implicated? I'd be a liar if I said that wasn't part of it, but I really do care for the boy, and I wouldn't wish him harm for all the world. And I could have run. I could have. You think he'll make good on Threat? Should we walk in our backs? I wouldn't worry about it. Riss doesn't have as many friends as he thinks he does. I was practically the only one. Yeah, I'm inclined to believe his side of the story more than yours. Are you? Well, you're certainly entitled to your opinion. Tell me what you want from me. Anything anymore? At the moment, all I want is a way out of the cliffs and some friendly company. You seem to fit the bill on both counts. I mean, there's no reason for you to be part of the a member of the party anymore. I'll keep you around because I need you to smooze people. How do we level up? Okay, you can choose between 4 advancement steps. When you gain all 4 steps, you will increase your tier, unlocking a new selection of abilities and other bonuses. What does this mean? You can choose between 4 advancement steps. Okay, is that like these things? When you gain all 4 steps, so you make choices, but eventually all of them are the choice. When you gain all 4 steps, you increase your tier, which is your level. So like you get a quarter level, and then a full level. That's so weird. That doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, so advance. Select one of the following options to spend your experience points. You can select each option once per tier. Okay, so we can only choose 4 of 5 choices. And we've already chosen one? Or why can't I do this? Extra effort means what again? It's this edge thing or no? What is effort? Oh no, it's this. How many stats can you put into a dice roll? Increased edge is this. Each point of edge reduces the total cost of activating it. Okay, so wouldn't you always want to increase your edge? Does this just give the first investment point for free? You'd always want to increase your edge before your maximum effort, right? Because then you're not spending any points. Why increase the max if you could just reduce the total? Am I crazy here? Increase stat pools. By how much? How many points do you get? Is that part of our class? I thought it was. Well, this is +3 health at tier 1. That's level 1. And +6 health at each later tier. But does this mean we have to get 4 points into our tier in order to level up, so we're not getting any experience? I don't understand this system at all. I think we'd want to do increased edge. Provides a bonus to all tasks with that stat. For each point, you can use 1 level at no point. Edge also reduces the activate. Yeah, I mean, this seems like an easy choice. So we can only ever put 2 points maximum into a task, but now the first one is always free. That seems like a no-brainer to me. Okay, and yeah, we're only a quarter way through the tier. What? I won't say stupid. Let's be not as negative. Oh, we're actually like the lowest level here then, right? Because you already have 2 tiers. Well, what do they even call these again? Advancement steps. That's, and you've got 3. They just like made a system just to be different. That's what that feels like. Anyways, quest completed. I feel like there, I mean, I wonder how much that affects the plot line.
Of course.
Also, why is this not going away? It's just stuck there.
Allow me.
Apparently we just get to look at this the whole time. Sagus townsperson. Like your tattoo. Well, thanks.
I'm going.
Talk to this crier here. Star falls in the reef. Hundreds witness the spectacle. Autochthon. Sky is too thin. Mutant. Is he T-posing at the sky? Sun is nourishing today, is it not? Yes, very nourishing. Okay, that goes where? To the underbelly. Okay.
Of course.
So this is, the underbelly is like the oldest thing here.
Let's go.
The structure is embedded in the ground. It was clearly not made by the same people who built Circus Minor. It looks as though the device extends deeper into the ground, below the road. Weathered runes are spread across the device's surface. Huh. Elevation of humanity, or perhaps a specific person. I bet I know who. I bet I know who. It's one of the Death Cheater's vessels. Kazmine will want to see you, and Mimia. Okay.
I'm going.
What's this?
All right.
Be the same thing as the thing on the other side? Weird.
Don't mind if I do.
Former. Brace yourselves. The genocide. This burly, armor-clad figure stands almost motionless as you approach. He regards you silently through his singular eye. The studs on his arms and the blades on his shoulders are stained and pitted with age. When he speaks, his voice is muffled and artificial, a hollow grumble that emanates from the entirety of the helmet. I am the genocide. If you ask, I must answer. Pass on then, and exchange no words. You said that you had to answer if I asked. Why? From within the helmet, you hear a grinding noise, the sound of teeth gnashing amplified, then the voice again bleak. We sat at the river's edge, and we wept for the time that was. We saw nothing more to conquer, and yet our fears still drove us. We'd conquered the land, purged its impurities, and made it ours. Still, we wanted more. When we heard that humans had come to carve a home, we rejoiced to have a new foe, a new test of our truth. We rode against them. We drove them to the forge of the night sky, to the valley of Mara Jolios, to the dangers of the Black Riage. But those who built atop these ruins, they thwarted us, time and again. And so we brought our constructs and our deadliest warriors to the bay outside the city. We laid a mighty siege. We entered the human settlement. We fought past barricades and troops. Some of our constructs are still here, silent and dead. But when we thought we had achieved our greatest victory, a powerful Nano saved them. With his magics, he called upon the strength of the ancients and captured us. I thought my life was at an end, but he imprisoned me in slow time, trapped me in my body, used machines to paralyze my will. I still remember our glories, and I see the fated future in front of me, and I am powerless to act. The memories of our triumphs remain always at the forefront of my mind, and I must answer the mocking questions of these people, or suffer. Dang. What are you? I am a blade that cannot cut, a weapon that cannot strike, a living monument to failure. I was Ogesti Telkotu, the former hand of tradition. They called me one of the Black Three. Enemies did not understand us. They took my name to mean death in a dozen extinct tongues, called me Orphan Maker, Hope Smasher, Death's Child. My armies blackened the earth and the skies. My Dragoliths scoured the land. Domination was my duty. If they had known, if they had welcomed us, they might have been our thralls. Instead, they became dust. All this, it was to have been mine in stewardship for the future of my people. It was promised, but now I am the genocide, a relict, the last of my kind. Why are you the last of your kind? I know of no others. Kalagat Anvor, he who shares truth and understanding, is dead. Vostula Lo, the blinding light of reason, was destroyed. The underspine has fallen. My people are destroyed utterly, and our servant God speaks to us no longer. The clean lines of order and the glory of battle have forsaken us. The rest are dust. We rose against a superior foe and were outmatched. Only I remain to tell the story of the Tabat. Let me go with the Nano. He found old knowledge and made it his own. He created defenses that we could not penetrate. Most telling, most effective, the shield generators. We created 3 barriers around the heart of the city, and the last unmoored the city in time. When our constructs touched it, they flashed to stasis. We could not reach the city, but the city could reach us. I feel the ticklings of memory. Let the memory come. It's a patchy memory, coming in still images and moments. The relentless beat of the war machines as they approach the city. The reavers in the sky in their dirigibles. You remember fighting them on the parapet. You remember fleeing into the safety of the city. You recall making your way to the shield generators, cutting off the Tabat supply lines. And then the memory fades. The genocide watches you silently. The Nano who defeated you was the changing god. He and his children still live. His voice is flat and dead. Others have claimed this. I do not know if they say this to torment me, but if our enemy was a god, even if he was once but a man, then to stand against him is to spit in the face of the divine. The Tabat were a holy people. Humans do not believe it, but our rights were as sacred to us as they were profane to your kind. We accepted the will of the ineffable. Any who still live may yet find the mantle of godhood. To be divine is to be beyond the rule of mortal ethics. Those who would be gods must cast aside these concerns if they are to turn against the old teachings. So how did they stop you from trying to escape? The Nano who raised the city's shields created a device. He called it the Mind Seer. With it, he violated my mind, my memories, and everything that was at the core of my being. In a fit of vengeance, he tore truths from me. He made me betray my people. He rewrote my mind. He gave me perfect clarity into the past and gelded my ability to shape the future. The Tabat never sought revenge against foes who were mightier than we. We devised stratagems to defeat them. We tested ourselves. We did not punish or hate. Punishment was purification. This, though, is torture. The worst of the city's refuse can mock me now. They can ridicule and jape, and I am powerless to strike them for our impudence, for their impudence. And now they do not even do that. I have become a fixture, an irrelevance, a non-entity. I am a slave to peacemakers. I must endure their presence and feel their corruption sink into me daily. Some foreign part of me desires it, but I remember that I will triumph over them. Eventually, they will die, and I will not. What's the deal? What's the Tabat? My people. Great warriors, we owned this land. We served the Underspine, and it served us. We sought truth in victory. We ascended to epiphany. We were pure, incorruptible, indivisible, even in disunity. We found strength in one another and proved it with bloody blades. But we fell, and the Underspine fell. And so, too late, we learned a new truth. But I carry the old ways as a seed within my heart. Tell me more about the Underspire. Our slave, our god, our prize. It kept us holy, kept us pure and unchanging, anchored to a fixed point. The world turned around us, but we remained constant. When the world brought inconstancy, we fed it blood. The Underspine was our soul, our confessor. We knew clean, hard rapture from it. We knew our path. It gave us the words of the ancient Tabat, and our path was rigid and unbending, absolute. But was it? You would not understand. It was a machine. It was a stone. It was a cavern. It was a city. It was the direct voice of our ancestors. It spoke in our heads and in our ears and in our hearts. We heard its voice in our creches, in our daily instructions. Our God was true and strong and singular, not the fickle, inconstant things of the modern day. So that's the underbelly. The same, the underspine and underbelly, they gotta be the same thing, right? What's the benefit of an absolute path? We had no questions about our duty, about our goals, only the particulars. We erased doubt in the purity of utter certainty. Questions raised are answered. Questions raised are questions answered, or they are heresy. No need for self-agony. The necessity of introspection was transmuted into optimization of our paths, into fashioning ourselves into the pinnacle of our achievement. Clear definition in life creates truth, not this pitiful shadow. Yo, the writers of this really like to use big words, and it's not always necessarily necessary. You know, you don't need to use big words just for the sake of using big words. So what happened to it? Sabotage, or failure. One of those under my command told me that it had whispered defeat into his ears, as if it had sickened, lost sight of the true path. Given the question, the Underspine denied this. My soldier was cast out, and I suffered the barb for his doubt. It was later, years later, that the Underspine broke, after our failure, and I have never been sure if the seeds for our defeat were planted in those days. The Nano who captured me, who nailed me to time, he used the Mindseer to ferret out the Underspine's location. I do not know if he ever found it in the world. He raped a genocide from me. What the? That's a sentence. And mocked me with his sobriquet. Don't know what that is. I was not to blame. I will stand before the Underspire and swear my innocence. I mean, yeah, not to judge, but your path was unbending. There's no wonder you broke. I do not bend now. I have been driven down, but I do not bend. I live, and those stood against me are dead. Do you have more questions, or do you release me? No. Let's keep talking. Talk about the Tabat. Why did you fight so much? For honor, for truth, for the one way, because it was our duty. We were born to the blade, so it was written, so we chose. Free will is a curse unless given to a greater purpose. Our purpose was given to us by the Underspire, given to the Underspine by our ancestors, who found it and crystallized our essence forever. Crystallized, you say? You mentioned the names of the Tabat. Can you tell me about them? Kalagat Anvor, the strongest mind of the Black Three. None could stand before him when he bent his mind to their unraveling. Intricate, careful, overwhelming. Vostele Lo, a methodical planner, collector of curiosities, the toolsmith and construct waker. It was he who brought the ancient machines to life, and I, the knife, the strategist, the blade in their hands. We three were unstoppable. Until Sagus Cliffs. Until then. Until the corruption of defeat. Can you tell me where the others are? The rest have gone to dust, only I remain. You mentioned the shield generators. Can you tell me about them? I told you their effect. They unmoored the city in time. They severed our supply lines. They left us vulnerable and defeated us. The Underspine's strategy failed us. I began to doubt. Generators are unused, abandoned, their purpose forgotten. Though the people of the city still swear by our name, our terrors are fresh in their nightmares, despite the passage of centuries. They have forgotten the meaning of their salvation. The means of their salvation. This one beside me no longer functions, but one of the others is buried in the ground not far from here, and has not yet failed. Oh, it's the one by the circus? It powers the clock around which those ridiculous fools prance. I'm confused. So if that was activated again, what would happen?
Of course.
This machine towers above you like a dagger driven into the ground by a giant. It seems much older than the surrounding buildings. Your hands itch to touch the array of dark panels scattered around the machine, as though they have touched them before. I remember why the machine feels so familiar. You or a companion, I do, now have Engine in one of your stats, granting you a discount. Each level grants one free level of effort. Yeah, so like, the first one's free. I didn't mean to commit, that's fine. You close your eyes to better concentrate, sinking into the currents of memory that does not belong to you, or at least not to the body you are in, and you hear the thunderous heartbeat of the operational generator calling you from across centuries. You open cold, focused eyes, ignoring the screams, the drifting tangles of black smoke. Your attention is solely focused on the health of the machine's heartbeat. You reach into the hissing guts of the generator, adjusting and tuning, hoping. The heartbeat fades into the past. Your hand, your body's hand, rests on the rusty surface of the long-dead generator. Examine. Your hands slip over the cobbled-together components and greasy cables, the buttons worn by frequent use. It is a strange accomplishment, this machine, clumsy but deft, amateurish but masterful. Only a brilliant mind could have melded so many disparate parts into a functional device. Unfamiliar memories whisper to you. This device was used, though you don't know how, to generate a field that unmoored everything within it from time itself. You see a circular symbol etched onto the side, like a maker's mark.
Yes. Now.
Game just saved. A jumble of boulders and debris lies at the foot of the surrounding cliffside. The broken remains of ancient devices lie among the fallen stone, while off to one side a metallic canister sticks out of the top of the pile. Appears mostly intact. Before we examine let's examine the rocks. It's not gonna fall on me, is it? You notice a slight gleam as the light hits some of the rocks at just the right angle. You lean closer. Tiny mechanical devices are embedded in the rock. A quick search of the rest of the pile reveals that only a small percentage of the rocks are more than they appear. Examine the canister. Leaning over, you notice that the container is hollow, with an opening in the top providing full access to the interior. A quick glance reveals that it's empty. While most of the canister is relatively intact, A small part of its exterior wall has been pried open, exposing delicate mechanisms. Scavenge what we can. I mean, it said I could use either one, but I'm not getting the choice here to do that. It's automatically using quick fingers. But why though? Also, do I already have expertise? Why? Like, this is the baseline. This is 1. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong character. Oh, whatever. Perception. Using the pried open panel as a starting point, you delicately disassemble the exterior of the canister and manage to retrieve a fair number of intact components. Smash. Let's not do that yet. Let's save. I want to load because I am tired of seeing this on my screen, and maybe it'll go away if I just reload the game. Or reload the save, rather. Okay, that worked. I don't think anyone smashes, do they? None of us are good at smashing. That's like all the points we spent. You gather up all the stones you can find with machinery close to their surface and set to work. Soon you have a tiny pile of components that should serve as shins. Nice, we got like 150 bucks out of that. So how do I recover my points again? Because you need to recover your intellect and you need to recover your might. We just have things that do that, right? So can we split a pile? Control, shift. Nope. Can I just use it from the bag?
Shall we?
Okay. Need me? What do you need?
All right.
All right, that works.
Ready.
Okay, where does this go?
Naturally.
This goes to the government square. Let's go.
Gladly.
This is the clock. This is Kazmine and Mimion. You can interact with it. I don't think I want to do that yet. Hi. As you approach the duo, you see that they are arguing heatedly but quietly. The petite woman turns to you. Her hair is unusual, a light, almost yellow color, and her bright eyes dominate her pretty face. Excuse me, sir, my friend and I were having a discussion, and her eyes fall upon your tattoo, and her breath catches audibly in her throat. Her partner is an unnaturally tall man, gaunt and sour-faced, his voice sonorous, with fingers that twitch and weave through strange contortions. Occasional light sparkles in the air as he does. He turns to you and opens his mouth to speak, registers your tattoo, and closes it again. His throat bobs for a moment, and he says it is an honor. Espanol? No, it is, spring break, apparently, this week, so no class. No clase esta semana. But welcome. Bienvenido. It is an honor. Must we indulge in this religious nonsense? No. Your opinion of our beliefs is noted. We have discussed our differences with you, and you made your position quite clear. Thank you. So everyone seems to know our companion. She's from this town. He collects himself. If I might impose on your time for a moment, will you tell me about your tattoo? How did you shape it? Do you know why it differs from the others? What do you mean shape it? Don't tattoos stay the same? Not yours, revered one. Her voice is the barest whisper as she curtsies. You are a cast-off of the changing god, Light of Brilliance. His touch is on your head. The tattoo marks you as his child. She gazes at you, enwrapped. You are not alone. Other cast-offs live, and we treasure each of you. You are welcome here, revered one. We stand ready to serve as we can. Have you any questions? So many questions. Who are you? I am Mimian. I am one of the leaders of the cult of the Changing God in Sagus Cliffs. My primary duty is as Chief Archivist. My colleague is Kasmine. She is responsible for the day-to-day administration of our canon. What can you tell me about the city? The city, your sire, built and defended? The cradle of civilization? The center of the empire of knowledge? It is among the great works of humanity in the Ninth World. Built on the foundations laid by unknown creators, it has risen to become one of the preeminent cities in Garavia Sound. It is somewhat diminished in these latter years, to be sure, but if the Changing God were to return to lead us to glory... do you know anything about the Sorrow? She shudders and touches herself ritualistically on the forehead and on her lips. A monster of deepest nightmare. I've heard that it wants you dead. Every one of the Holy One's creations. All dead. I don't know why, but it hates you. Oh, okay. Can you tell me the meaning of the tattoo? You are a cast-off of the Changing God. Our inspiration. The man who has cheated death for centuries so that he might accumulate wisdom. He wears bodies like clothes and abandons them when he has exhausted his studies in them. Yet, when he leaves, a spark of consciousness remains. Your consciousness, revered one. That didn't really explain the whole tattoo part, but thanks. What can you tell me about my sire? You mean the most accomplished inventor of our time? The hero of Sagus Cliffs? The man who dodged death itself? The Time Weaver? The man who destroyed the Dabat? Oh, we have so much to say. But perhaps we should wait for another time. Do you know anything about a device called a resonance chamber? Rumor and conjecture, nothing more. Idle speculation from those who wish to pretend to knowledge of your sire's motivation, passed along as fact. Have you seen it? Do you know where it is, what it does? I don't know if I trust these people. I need to know who can repair it. So you have seen it, you have touched it. Your tattoo, like all the others, but this one is different. He looks sharply at you now, all distraction gone. I do not recognize you, he says. You do not match any descriptions we have recorded. So I'm like, yeah, I'm the new one. That's what he's saying. She snaps her fingers as if she finally figured out a mystery. Wait, let me remember your face. You're new. Are you the Changing God? Can it be? Do I manipulate these people to get information that I need? I mean, I kind of went into this thinking the less people that know about this, the better. But it seems like everyone is going to recognize because I literally have this enormous tattoo on my head. So, like, I shouldn't lie about the fact that I'm a cast-off. But I don't know if these people even can help me. So if I lie to them and say, yeah, it's me, the god, not just some lonely cast-off, they probably have ways to test me and I would just fail anyway. So there's also no point in saying lying. So I'm going to say no. He nods, satisfied. As I thought, you are a cast-off, one of his children. There's no shame in such a thing. Many cast-offs have come to our attention, and some of them have sought to deceive us so they might seem more important. Okay, I'm glad I didn't lie to this guy. If you are as new as we suspect, it is better for you, for us, to know the truth of your existence than to bluster and lie. Are you sure you're not? No, why would you lie about that? With noticeable effort, she wrenches herself into optimism and chirps. But you're new, aren't you? You're new. Have you decided what you'll do? What you'll be? Your sire's other children have done amazing things, and no doubt you will as well. Cass, we have a request for you. He gestures towards the clock behind him. Dark figures circumbobulate these clock faces. I theorize that your sire's creation of the time shields that protected this city establish a connection with future selves. Given this, we believe those figures may be cast-offs, or ghosts of cast-offs, perhaps. The living shells of the bodies your creator has worn previously. The clock is unmoored in time, you see. We do not have a knowledge sufficient to investigate, but you might. You have a connection with he who created the clock. You should be able to align it with the present time and uncover who these figures are. If you cannot, at least you will increase our store of knowledge. And then we can answer the questions you must have. Right, ma'am? What is this? What does fixing the clock do? I don't get it. I don't understand. Dark figures circumambulate. Do you have any idea how to fix it? We've tried. I've appealed to the Order of Truth. I've spoken with eminent seekers of knowledge. We have sent for wisdom from as far as the Steadfast. A great achievement, you must agree. None have given us an answer. We believe your sire created the device or had it in hand. Perhaps you can find an answer where others have failed, and then we can help you. We'll have our boundless gratitude, revered one.
I'll remember that.
I mean, I kind of already know what to do, right? We just have to power it up. And then they'll help us. I mean, how much help do you think we're going to get from these guys? Because we were going to go to the Order of Truth. Because these guys just, you know... Can we help? Can we do both, I wonder?
All right.
Touch the clock. This complex machine towers over you. Its purpose is unclear, but the three circular faces set into the ground remind you of clocks. Something is wrong with the machine, however. It's partially transparent, shimmering in the air when you look directly at it. The clock faces seem to show several different times at once. So like turning on the machine or whatever would lock it in time. Humanoid silhouettes ripple beneath the central clock face. One places his hand against the face as though it were a glass wall. They seem to be watching you. Let's examine it. Towering mechanism waves in the air. Similar to Calistique, it appears to be in several states at once, though all of the machine's states are in the exact same location. You can't touch it either. Your hand passes right through the structure. As you pull your hand away, a memory strikes you as powerfully as if someone took a club to your chest. You are working at the clock. It is no longer transparent, but perfectly solid. There's a noise behind you. So they've come, the three traitors. They think to surprise you, but through the powers of the clock, you have foreseen this moment. There's the faintest sound of metal sliding against leather. You slap a hand on the central clock face, activating the clock's arcane powers. You're not sure what it will do to them, but it's better than what they'll do to you. There's a flash. Arcs of energy stretch out from the clock over your shoulders to your would-be attackers. You don't see what happens to them, but they quickly disappear along with their screams. As the last shreds of the memory fade, a swirl of energy passes through your body. Cold barbs prick every muscle. Suddenly, tidal forces arc from the clock to three ancient devices in the cultist encampment. The clock recognized something inside of you, or maybe vice versa. Either way, you have inadvertently activated the nearby devices.
Making a note.
Well, that happened. I mean, is this thing a doomsday device? Because it, like, killed other things. Let's just save again. Do I have to turn these on, or am I done now? The clock's solid. Examine the machine again. Reach for the silhouetted figures. Step away. So can I interact with
Yes.
these now, or
Now.
is it already powered up? I'm stuck
Let's
on
go.
somebody. As you approach this device, Circus Minor changes around you. People are dressed differently and speak it differently. Whole new structures appear, including an enormous building rising from the edge of the square. You look down at the device. A series of images flit across its surface. They don't appear related to the changes around you. You see faces of other people and places, all of them familiar. Look more closely at the changes. Like, this is just another place in time, right? Circus Minor looks almost completely different. All of the people are dressed strangely, and though they speak the truth, they use many terms and phrases that you don't understand. Is the truth just like the name of the common tongue? The square has changed as well. All of the tents are gone. The buildings are more colorful and less weathered. One building in particular rises from the edge of the square, a tower of purple rock some 50 stories high. A mural is painted on the side, though you can't see the details from here. Look around again. Okay. This is what Sagus Cliff looked like centuries ago. Examine the images on the surface of the device. As soon as you focus on them, you feel a warmth in your head where your tattoo is. The images respond to your thoughts, slowing and changing at your whim. It's something about your body that allows you to do this, which perhaps means that only you can ever see the images. You immediately recognize the pictures as pieces of memory, specifically the 3 memories you saw back in the fathoms of your mind. Which 3 memories? What? What? I don't know what 3 memories you're talking about. Did I miss that somewhere? Look at the memory in the underwater city. The memory is recent. 2 men, both with tattoos like your own, are in an underwater city searching for something. The denizens of the city chase them from their quarry and ultimately surround and capture them. As you review the memory, you get a strange feeling in your mind that you can only describe as a query. The device wants something from you. Suddenly, you remember. The memories in the device are possibilities, but you can lock one of the memories here, so it's the only one that's displayed. You don't remember what purpose that served, though. Okay, so this is like, is this a puzzle? We have to lock one of the memories into each pillar, or what? Look at the memory in Lush Valley. Somehow you know the memory is from a long time ago. Centuries ago, probably. A man and a woman, both with tattoos like your own, are surveying a lush, secluded field, or valley for some purpose you cannot recall. Okay, and the city under siege. Somehow you know this memory is ancient. It might have occurred 1,000 years ago. A man and a young girl race through the streets of Sagus Cliffs. All around them, the city is attacked by terrible people. The Dabat, you recall. The man takes them to an ancient machine somewhere in the city, and he and the girl disappear. So we just supposed to lock this in order of events?
I'm going.
Or is this going to be different for each one of these pillars? Oh, are we supposed to... We're supposed to match the images we see to the time period it's in, maybe. Okay, so let's look at the changes around me. Is it still the same? Circus Minor is the same, but the crowd is different. Most of the people in the stalls and buildings are not the same as those you see in the square. Those few you do recognize are younger by several years. So this is the most recent memory, right? Yeah, this is probably the most recent memory. This one with the giant pillar wouldn't be the ancient one. So this would be just older. This is a centuries old. And then I'm guessing this last one is like the city under siege, which is the oldest one. Circus Minder is under attack. Squads of armored soldiers roam the streets. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so this is the ancient memory of the besieged city.
Yes.
Okay, that like confirms it. This one was the most recent memory, right? Yeah. Okay. And then this is the Centuries one. As you lock this third image, a final surge of energy arcs through the air from the device to the clock itself. The clock shines for a moment, then becomes solid, fixed into a single state. At the same time, the device in front of you goes dark. The images disappear, as does the strange view of the city's past. 3 experience. Whoa, did you see that? There was a shadow of a dragon. That was weird. Here, I was about to start complaining about the 3 experience, and that caught my eye, but 3 is, again, what's the point of 3 experience? 3 of 180. 3.
I'll remember that.
I'll remember that. Machine is solid now. Each of the 3 clock faces show a single time, though none of them point to any time measured that you understand. You lean closer to the central clock face. 3 shadowy figures still lurk within, their features almost discernible now. Suddenly, the figures surge out of the clock towards you. Intense pressure strikes your head like a steel spike. Then, everything goes black.
Making a note.
Making a note. Oh no. What the? It's like some MC Escher stairs going on right here. Kamos, Divyatisu, and Vion.
Of course. Yes.
Hi.
Now.
The 3 figures before you are disoriented. They don't seem to notice you at first. All 3 of them have a tattoo like yours. Cast-offs. What befell us? The woman... Oh, is this the 3 figures that got killed from this clock? The woman is dressed in powerful-looking armor. Her face bears several scars, yet her eyes have the innocence of a child. Did he do something? Are we still in the clock? I do not believe so. The second figure is tall, dressed in all black. Its height is exaggerated further by a violet fish-like crest on the top of its head. Its large yellow eyes are squinted, scanning all around. There was a man outside the clock, but it wasn't. It was him. The third figure points at you. He is small, wiry, and tense, as though he expects danger. He carries a shield on his back. He's a cast-off, he says, looking at your tattoo. Can't say I recognize him, though. Who are you? The woman steps forward. We beg your forgiveness, friend, brother. We have been through quite the trial. I am Kamos. These are my friends, Divyatisu and Vion. We are cast-offs like you. She looks you up and down, her brow slightly furrowed despite her kind demeanor. We were ingested into your head. I saw it. How is that possible? He eyes you suspiciously. See, who are you? I'm a cast-off like you. I'm the latest one. The latest? That's not possible. We faced the changing god mere days ago, and you are not the body he wore. I think we might have been trapped in that clock for centuries, Kamos. Something about it messed with our perception. The Vargelon, I don't know what that means, looks up at the ceiling, and where the ceiling would be if there were one. Time is an illusion, lunchtime doubly so. How long is the wrong question? What is this place? Where are we? Somewhere in my mind, I think. Yes, perhaps you're right. 6 nostrils. Our consciousnesses were ripped from our bodies when the changing god activated his clock. Then when you appeared, it happened again. Our minds ripped from the chronal prison. I cannot be certain, but I believe this is part of some vast mental construct. Your mental construct. What? You mean we just went from one prison to another? You did this. If this is your mind, then let us out. Why can't you get us out of here? Weren't you listening? We were trapped in that clock for centuries. I'm looking for a way out, believe me, but if whatever is says it's your mind, then it's your show. As long as we live, there's hope. One of us will find a way. Why did you get trapped in the clock? Yes. The 3 of us once worked alongside our sire, helping him with his research after he'd brought the Order of Truth to Sega's Cliffs. We saw him for what he was, selfish, arrogant. He doesn't care about us, not a single one of his children. All of his projects were always about him. He didn't care if anyone got hurt in the process. We betrayed him. We meant to stun him, to capture him before he could escape to another body, but he was too quick for us. He activated the clock, tearing our minds from our bodies and trapping us eternally. I mean, yeah, let me look around. Let me look around this square space. Mm-hmm. As I suspected, nothing this way. Looking around, looking around. Okay. The 3 of them muttered to each other, looking around this strange space to try to find another way out. I don't see any way out. Your mind. Only you have the power to change. What he's trying to say is that this place was created for your body, or perhaps by your body. Our sire placed within each of us unique gifts and abilities. For example, I've never heard tell of another cast-off who could trap consciousness the way that you have. You would not have created this space for you without also giving you a means by which to move through it. Think, what other gifts did our Creator bestow upon you? I built the path out of a deep fathom in my mind by recovering memories I'd lost. Perhaps if there were any memories here to recover, maybe. I just don't know what memories look like, but I don't see anything. I chose an aspect of myself when I was born, deep in the heart of this labyrinth. Is that it? I can see what you speak of. This aspect describes you, just as I am Vargelon. I don't know what that means, Vargelon. Observant and foolish. I object. He's not wrong, and you know it. It's the truth. Anyway, you've gotten us out of twice as much trouble as you get us into. These aspects are descriptors of who we are, but they are not us. That you chose your aspect says quite a lot, but I do not believe that is enough to set us free. That's very meta, isn't it? That we literally chose our character at the beginning of the game, but in real life, you don't get to choose your own skills. Like what you're good at, what you're adapted to. You can study those things, but you're not born that way. But in like the game, you literally choose what you're good at. That's very meta. I am a jack of all trades. So am I, kid, and yet we're both still stuck in here. You see, that's just the type of thing that you do. It was a path you chose, not something our sire gave you, nor a means to freedom. I don't think I have the ability you're talking about. You must. We each have our gifts given to us by our sire for a specific purpose. His purpose, of course, but a purpose nonetheless. They say, for example, that foolish though I may be, I have 9 magical gifts of speech. That is not something I chose nor learned, but is who he made me to be. I am a master of defensive arts. Our sire learned them when he was in my body. Probably built my body to excel at it. I wouldn't call it a gift, but it's me. I am one with the shadows. I lived in them, I breathed them. This is not some esotery I discovered, but a unique ability our sire chose for me while he was in my body. The gift is in you. Perhaps you've just forgotten. Our sire wouldn't have made this place for you without granting you the power to get out. Focus. Find the answer inside yourself. Okay? You rifle through your memories, past everything you actually remember to those memories you didn't create yourself. There must be a key or door, anything that would help you escape this fathom of your mind. Just as you're about to give up, you find something. A cluster of sparks, nascent abilities deep within the core of your being. You sense the abilities to speak eloquently, to use a shield with a master skill, to lurk among the shadows as though you were home. 100 experience, now that's what I'm talking about. None of these seem particularly suited to creating a path out of this place. But as you sift through them, you know that you are trapped here. Not because it is some puzzle your sire left for you to solve, but because you are not yet whole. There is another part, the last part, of deciding who you are. In completing yourself, you will be able to open a path back to the calm of your mind. Oh, we're still doing character creation. Brandishes a silver tongue, breathe shadow. This is like literally those three people. Natural Riz, max effort on persuasion. Okay, but so hold on, because we have a negative ability in this, right? We have minus 15% in this. If we got a max effort, that would just nullify the penalty, essentially, because a +1 would go from a minus 15% to a 0, I think. I don't know how that works exactly. Okay. Nocturnal. +1 in quick fingers, deception, and perception. Just all of the time. And sneak attack. Your focus grants you additional abilities regardless of your chosen type. Counterattack. Whenever an attack misses you, make a basic attack against the enemy if in range. There's no limit to the number of attacks that can be made this way. 10% evasion as long as you have an item equipped in the offhand slot. How does that work with our unarmed defense that we took? Can we still use a shield with unarmed defense? Because if so, this would be really good. Because the shield itself gives us evasion. And so we just will never get hit. So we could either nullify our penalty, do sneak attack. I mean, this is good. A +1 in those things. I don't know if we need that, because you could just put points into it. And I don't think we're ever going to be using surprise attacks. We don't do much damage at all right now, so I don't think we want to go for offensive. But this, again, is still good. More evasion seems great. I think we'll go Master's Defense. I still don't know, though. Again, if we can somehow make this not be bad... because we're a jack of all trades, I think we get more skills. So we can put those skills into these three abilities, and then this would no longer just be nullifying the negative, it would actually be a positive. But obviously that requires more investment. Because max effort of +1 is different than just 5%. This, well, maybe it's not. Maybe this is the same thing. We just baseline get a +1, essentially. Again, they're trying to make it feel like you're special or different by using percentages, but you'll note that it's always in percentages of 5, aka divide by 20. It's a d20. This is a dice roll. It's a d20. 5% is a 1. So this is giving 1 plus 1 on these things. I did think that's funny, because like here it says max effort plus 1, which is the same as gives an additional 5% for free. It's just so silly. Plus 2 to our evasion now. We do have a shield that we don't have equipped because I didn't know how it worked. I didn't know how it worked with like our unarmed defense or whatever. I don't know who might also be in our party, because right now we don't really do anything well. Again, we're a jack of all trades. We don't do anything well at all. Isn't 5% the same as getting +1 attack rolls? Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's literally the same thing. Plus 5%. It's just a +1 bonus. So again, the question is, I like these options. Right now, I am getting a... Right now, because of my character's stats, I'm actually getting a minus 15%, aka minus 3, on all of these stats. Persuasion, deception, and I think intimidation. I'm getting a minus 3 just because I am unskilled in them right now. Max effort plus 1, what that really means is you can invest a point when you do the skill check to get a +1, aka 5%. So that would not necessarily nullify our penalty, but it would just go from a -3 to a -2. But later on, we can invest skill points into these and go from like a -15, -3, all the way up to a +3, in which case this is probably really good. I mean, we could see ourselves using persuasion, deception, and intimidation a lot. We do have a party member that does all of these right now, so I don't know if they're going to stick with us, but we don't necessarily need that. Straight up +1 to what is essentially like stealing, and again deception, which we have a negative in, and perception. That's just a flat bonus, is great. I think surprise attack is garbage and we'll never use it. Counterattack, again, doesn't seem good because we're not good at combat. But Shield Master is a +2 to our defense as long as we have a shield. And the shields give like +10 per, like, so they also give +2. Like, okay, I think I've just convinced myself. I've already convinced myself. That's it. You did it. Does this mean we can go back to the real world? I don't think so, but it does mean we are free finally. Thank you, friend. Go. We will follow. Okay, let's just confirm this now. Right now, our evasion is 25%. We're getting this bonus because we have this skill that says we gain 10% evasion and willpower, which is like a saving throw, when wearing no armor or light armor. Oh, I didn't realize it was or light armor. And, oh, we had a shield. Oh, shoot, did we sell our shield? Might have sold our shield. Well, either way, a shield usually by itself also gives you some percentage of evasion. Let's just say it's 5%, so +1. So if we have a shield that gives us +1 evasion, that'd put us at 30, but now we'd also get an extra 10%, so we would have a 40% evasion. That's really good. That's really, really good. Yeah, we definitely sold ours. And let's just confirm. Deception, persuasion. So yeah, we have inability, which is a -3 penalty. But all we have to do is train it once. There is no -2 or -1. You immediately go from -15 all the way up to +3. That's crazy, actually. You go from a -3, you spend 1 point, and you go up to +3, and you can spend a second point to go up to +6. Crazy good. All right, we are getting wrapped around mechanics that we haven't even used yet. We had 1 combat this whole game, I think. Oh no, he's here. The sorrow. Now what? saw what happened. Are you alright? That thing almost killed you. You don't know what this specter is. Again, this is all happening in our mind. What did happen? It blasted you out of that part of your mind. What? The sorrow must be gathering its strength, taking spaces in your mind to keep you from reaching your full potential. I don't know why it doesn't just destroy you. Maybe the fragments aren't strong enough yet. It's alright though. You have more important things to do, right? Like get that chamber fixed. You always here? Where else would I be? I found the resonance chamber, but it's broken. Yeah, I saw that. I don't see everything you do out there in the world, but I definitely saw that. You have to find a way to fix it. Why did activating the clock in the real world open that other fathom? Who knows? It probably triggered something in your mind. Maybe a bridge you didn't have before. Maybe you did have the bridge once, but you lost it. What if this specter is still part of, like, the changing God stuck in our brain, right? He makes these bodies for himself, and then when he leaves the bodies of someone, it creates a consciousness. But we know memories of him and all other versions of him are stuck within that body. What if he himself is also stuck within the body? Like, what if this is him? Could other fathoms open like that? Maybe. You've already made a lot of changes at this place. At this point, nothing would surprise me. If this is my mind, why don't I remember this place? I told you as much as I know. It's your mind, and that means you're in control. You just need to figure out how to unlock its secrets. I don't know how, but I think the resonance chamber will do that for us. It'll unite us, make us whole again. See, how do I trust you? How do I get back this time? The portal's still there. I don't see why it wouldn't work twice. Oh, what do I do now? With the chamber broken, I'm not sure. We need to find someone who can fix it. That chamber's our only hope. Without it... Is there anything to do while I'm here? You mean apart from the cabaret acts, distilleries, and endless adventure just behind the next wrinkle in your mind? Ha! And if you believe that, sorry, it's your mind. There's nothing like that here. I've looked. Still, you've changed things plenty already. I wouldn't be surprised if something showed up here eventually. Tell me who you are again. I'm you. A piece of you that broke off when the sorrow attacked us. Are you, though? Alright, I'm ready to go. What about it strikes you as angry?
On it. All right.
Interesting, interesting.
Much better.
Much better. Okay, I've got some things to talk about with these two about. You fixed the clock. I knew you could do it. I knew it. You must tell us what you saw. Who were those figures? Were they cast-offs? What did they say? Were you able to retrieve them? Patience, Cass. We must first congratulate our guest. Masterfully done, revered one. A performance worthy of your sire. You are most welcome here. And we do have answers for your questions, revered one. That is, as soon as we hear the report of what you have found. Why are you calling her Cass when that's not her name? Is that like a title? Tell us. Yeah, I'll just tell them I met them. They'll probably know who it is, right? Disappointment creases her face. I know these names. They're not new to us. They were favored sergeants of your creator, cast-offs who served him well. Indeed. Dividia Tisu, what a name. Divya Tisu brought the Order of Truth to Sega's Cliffs, but they betrayed their holy trust and disappeared. Nevertheless, we will honor our agreement. We sought answers about who might repair the resonance chamber. We know that your sire built it with the aid of another cast-off, still unknown to us. Perhaps one of your siblings might know where to find him or her. I know of only one other cast-off still in the city, the albino assassin Matkina. Albino assassin. They call her the White Death. She wore a camouflaging cloak and brought destruction in her wake. The last I heard of her, she was in the underbelly. Seek her, but be wary.
I'll remember that.
I'll remember that. Okay, well, we know where to go now. Seriously, every time... Okay. It's like every time we complete a quest, this thing gets stuck over here. Seems to be working again.
In an instant.
Alright, where does this go? This goes to another part of town, surely, right? But where
Allow
specifically?
me.
This goes to the cliff's edge. So if we want to continue the main story, we go to the underbelly. Obviously, we don't do that. So the only place left to go would be to the government square. So let's go there instead.
Mind if I do?
We're not doing this, I think. The missing slave girl. Hold on, you know what? Let's just... Oh, never mind. I'll say let's do this quest where I just narc on that guy, but let's talk to his organization first.
Gladly.
Grave. Codex unlocked.
Why not?
Go away. Okay, fair enough. Sangolin. A tall, thin, and exquisitely dressed older man stands in the shade of an exquisitely crafted stall. The cut, color, and quality of his clothes, are a symphony of harmonious coordination, while the expression of benevolent condescension he gives you would be more at home on the face of a king. Good afternoon, I am Sangolin, and this is my store. Sangolin's Fittings. Welcome, how may I be of service? What do you sell here? I sell the finest city wear for discerning men and women, as well as quality armor for those traveling to less civilized locales. Also, it is our honor to have been chosen to provide the city of Sega's Cliffs with the official badges. Oh yeah, this would have been if we wanted to do that quest for our companion. Not the way that we did it. Tell me about the government square. Of course, sir. Let me think. There's Council Tower just over there, and the Order of the Truth, and you can't forget the Red Thicket, that walled courtyard on the edge of the square. Or were you curious about our fountain there? Tell me about the tower. It is ancient beyond reckoning. The tower's roots go all the way down to the forges in the underbelly, and within it sits the Council of Sega's Cliffs, the finest, fairest legislative body in the Ninth World. I don't say that just because they are my most valued patrons. They have run the city well for centuries, and thanks to me, they look magnificent while doing it. What can you tell me about the Order of Truth? They are a credit to our city, wise scholars and deep thinkers. Excellent customers as well. They're very particular about their robes. What is the Red Thicket? The Whispering Wood, I call it. A very curious and ancient place. You can speak as loudly as you like in there, and none but your partner can hear you. A great place for diplomacy. Interesting. Tell me about the fountain. One of the stranger and more poignant attractions in the square. The creatures in it are called jallies. Is that what I keep hearing? And they chatter in 1,000 dead tongues. The priests say that a new jally is born each time an old language dies. You can listen to them for a month and never hear the same language twice, or understand a single one. Tell me what you know about the people in this district. I'm not one to gossip, but if you insist, who do you wish to know about? Yeah, we'll ask about the White Death. He frowns for a moment, thinking, then nods. Yes, in fact, I believe I sold her a cloak once. The way she wore it, it seemed as if she wished to hide her face, which, with a face like that, I can readily understand. I got the impression she might do secret work for the families, but I wasn't about to ask. Let's see. All right, what do you have for sale? Okay, you do have shields. Yeah, so a single shield, just a regular plain shield, gives 10% evasion. So we want that. That does mean I have to get rid of this crossbow, but that's fine. Put on the shields and my infused crystalline
Good
dagger.
balance.
I can't rearrange anything in my inventory, apparently. Cool. Only usable by me. Okay. Artifact. Is that... okay. When damaged by energy, chemical, mental, or transdimensional damage, confers grounding cloak. Plus 15% on all tasks. Wow, just a plus 3. That's really good. We buy that, we equip it immediately. We do only want to wear light armor, which is good. All of this is light armor. Right now, we have just... wait. I'm looking at the wrong side. Right now we have +1 armor, +1 resistance. Yeah, we need to wear light. So this is +2, +3. It's 1 plus. So we'll buy this. And we will equip it. Perfect. May as well sell that. I don't know what we should keep and should not keep. All right, well, we have significantly improved our defenses. We have 45% evasion now. That's really good. And also this, when we're damaged, we get a bonus to everything, a +3 to everything. Doesn't say how long that lasts for. It's neat that you, if you're trained in something, you get a bonus about the item. I think that's actually a cool ability. The brink of full control, then died during the thunderstorm, throwing his cloak away while shouting, "I got it." That's funny. Wait, did we level again?
Yes.
Oh, dang, we leveled again. Well, it's not a true level. It's a fake level, right? Because the whole level system doesn't make any sense. Okay, we increased our edge already, so we can't do that anymore. Extra effort means extra max effort. I think we want to do improved skill. And so... this is where we could just strictly go... yeah, that's the crazy part. So if you put 1 point into something... you go from a -3 penalty to just negating the penalty to a +0 essentially. And then it's +3. You just basically get +3 every time you put a skill point in, which is insane. This seems important. Bonded artifacts. We don't have any yet, but it looks like we have a max of 2. And if you don't have concentration, you just get a minus just for having it. I'm assuming they're strong. Perception unlocks conversation options. See, I like that. I do like that. I also like this. Being able to recall memories, and it seems good. I think I'll go for perception, though, because I definitely want those conversation options. Okay, you leveled as well. Fake levels. We'll give you increased edge as well towards intellect. Again, you're basically just a mage version of me, so like, whatever, I guess it doesn't matter. And you did not level. Okay. Okay. Yeah, weird fountain. This fountain is constructed of material that seems halfway between wood and stone. It doesn't contain water, as might be expected. Instead, it's filling with swarming, tiny, fish-like creatures that leap and cavort in a wriggling mass, chattering to each other in what sounds like 1,000 different tongues. We got a lore check. These are jallies, harmless creatures that are usually found in clouds above the sea. What they're doing in this fountain is an utter mess. Are these like babblefish? Listen to what they're saying. You fold your arms, listening intently to the fish jabber at each other. It sounds like a cloud of nonsense syllables mashed into baby speak. Perception. Hey, see, look at that. We already paid off. A few often repeated sounds tug at your attention. There's no string of gibberish after all. They're speaking a variety of languages, but ones you've never heard of before. Spend more time listening. Examine the fountain. The fountain, now that you're looking at it, is unfathomably old. Coppery, tongue-like decorations curl up and over the rim of the structure, as if lapping at the endless streams of creatures within. I love having skills in lore and stuff. I love this, the natural, you just get a bonus for a thing, even if it's just lore. That's why I went for the perception. You take in the surrounding architecture before returning your gaze to the fountain. The structure easily predates the buildings in this plaza and possibly the city. It might even be older than the Ninth World. Wow. All right, let's catch one of these boys. 95% chance. 55% chance. You only have 3 points left. I'd rather save them. You can only get up to a 60%. If I spent all my points, I could get to 75. Okay. You deftly snatch a single fish from the glistening, tumbling flood. The bubbling mass of remaining creatures squawk together in nonsensical outrage. It's worth 114 bucks. It never requires food or other nourishment, and it gibbers constantly in an indecipherable language. I can try to catch another one. Took 1 damage. Tiny teeth chomp at the flesh between your fingers, and you release it with a curse. Okay. That was greedy. Worth. We just sell it to this guy immediately. Sell you this fish I caught. It sells for half of what I bought it for. Annoying. I don't want to get rid of anything, I think. Because I don't know if I'm going to get other companions. Yeah, we'll just take that money. Just caught a fish and sold it immediately. Alison Perry. This woman seems to be absorbed by what she's doing. Her blue eyes narrowed in concentration. You realize that she's the nicest looking person you've seen in a while and feel almost compelled to approach her. She shakes out the golden cloth she's examining and holds it up to the light. Such beautiful colors. It would look lovely on you. Who are you? My name is Alison Perry. You can call me Elson if you like. I'm a chirurgeon, but I mostly work with children. You know, healing scraped knees and the occasional broken bone. We're lucky here in Segas that it's rarely anything more serious. I was saying, I know this word, and I know it's something like, it's basically surgeon, but isn't it not surgeon? It's slightly different. Can you tell me about this place? Of course, this is Government Square, home to the City Council and the Order of Truth. The rest is embassies and city records, but you might enjoy a stop at the Red Thicket. What are you doing? Waiting for an appointment. Okay. Good talk. Good talk. Wealthy townsperson. We just hop into the red thicket and see what's going on about in here. Alien symbols are drawn in red.
Of course.
Ayin who knows. This woman's expression defies easy definition. It's cool and professional, but focused, interested. She nods at you and clasps her hands. I haven't seen you in here before. Before we begin, you should understand where we are. Before we begin. This is the red thicket. No one can listen in on our conversation here. You can only hear me because I'm speaking to you directly. In other words, no one will ever know what you tell me now in this place. At any rate, have you come to trade? Trade what? I am a knowledge broker, a hunter of information. Come to me with questions and I have answers. I will trade them. Trade them. My pricing is simple, a secret for a secret. The only condition is that it must be one I don't already know, and I should warn you, I know a great deal. How do I know you won't claim to know a secret you've never heard before? A fair question, but I don't bother with assurances. You can either judge by honesty or take your business elsewhere. What's the catch? Well spotted, she says. There is one, of course, but it's hardly unexpected. Anything you choose to tell me will, of course, be traded to others in due time. So it's not a secret if you're sharing it. In short, if you wish to keep something a secret, don't tell it to me. Why don't you trade these secrets directly to the people involved? A number of reasons, but chiefly this: I'm a broker, not a blackmailer. Don't share secrets with you. Got it. Are we gonna get, like, yelled at for barging in on people's conversations? Probably. Gebra Ambassador. Not now. With my doctor. Yeah. Your doctor. Irithor Bren. This slim man looks to be in good shape, and though his face remains hidden within his hood, he carries himself with confidence. His clothing exudes something like smoke that makes him look a bit like a ghost, perhaps a man who can't be found if he doesn't want to be. Irithor Bren. Pleasure. I'm a merc, head of the Ianthine Spectre Company. What brings you to the Red Thicket? Tell me about your company. We do infiltration, mostly. Sabotage, assassinations, assorted hostile recovery. Sometimes the city hires us to handle local threats. Problematic tribes, roaming predators, you name it. Pretty quiet these days, not like when we got started. Our first big job was a series of assaults in the Endless Battle. His eyes flicked to your tattoo for an instant. Man, I've been missing out on these perceptions. So he knows who I am or what I am. What's the Endless Battle? Really? All right, it's basically like it sounds. A fight that's given people like me a solid payday for more generations than anyone could count. As far as I heard, it's a scrap between rival factions of the Changing Gods cast-offs. What about? I couldn't tell you. Getting interested in the why of war always ends up being bad for business. What'd you do? Can't say. Contracts, you understand. All I can tell you is the Chalcedon pays on time, and that's more than I can say for some employers I've had over the years. One of the best jobs we ever had. Who's that? One of the commanders in the Changing Gods side. Pays well and on time, and that's the extent of my opinion on the matter. Now, my turn for questions. It's not just the tattoo that gives you away. I know you, don't I? Where from? We fight together? Fight each other? What is it? Tell the truth now. I'll know if you're lying. Hand drops to a pocket near his hip. He's got a gun. Trying to remember how you know him. You focus on the man, his features, and open your mind. Can we trust them? You hear yourself say, your voice muted by the ears. They're mercenaries. Of course we can't. That's not what I meant. Can we trust them to finish the work? If not, kill them now. This is no time for uncertainty. Well, you gonna tell me how we know each other? I was in the endless battle. Say no more, he says, raising a hand. Should have known that with that tattoo and all. My curiosity does get the better of me. So what's your company doing here? Negotiations. I'm between meetings with a few council representatives. They may want us for some ongoing work. Bit of a bidding war going on right now, to be honest. We're in demand. And there's something in that satisfaction behind that smile that catches your notice. He isn't just happy at the prospect of a solid payday. It's the smile of a man who believes that everything's going according to plan. Sus. Okay, so this is just another cast-off, a statue of a cast-off. Where does this place go? Caravanserai.
Of course.
Of course. What's going on here? Petitioners and a council clerk. I need my shipment released. Waiting for days.
Now.
Children. A lady with a silver belt. Lady with a silver belt. Someone's been sweeping and just put it into a pile, huh?
Why not?
Classic. Classic.
Why not?
Sigil. Sheila the Great, who struck off our chains.
Let's go.
The Order of Truth. Okay, that's where this is. Ladder to Underbelly.
Gladly.
Okay, so there's multiple ways in and out of that, I guess. What is this? Is this that portal that kid was put in? And is this that same place and time thing?
All right.
Towering above you is an enormous archway of metal and synth. Energy pulses through the structure, spilling from thin, transparent panels in subtle shades of gold and cyan. It appears to be dormant, but very much alive. The archway emits a low and constant hum, just at the edge of your hearing. Across the top, illuminated words are inscribed. The House of Empty Time. Heavy, rope-like cables connect the archway to a strange generator nearby. The workmanship of this device is quite different from that of the generator. If the generator bears the mark of a brilliant mind, connecting technologies in weird and unexpected ways, this archway is merely clever. Like a gifted student imitating the work of a master. You suspect that it owes much of its functionality to the generator from which it draws its power. It also appears to be a more recent construction. It's not activated.
Yes.
Look at the generator. Power still flows through this ancient machine. A brassy heartbeat pulses within it, just at the edge of hearing, and tiny bubbles orbit the entire structure. No, not bubbles, holes in space. This generator combines a huge number of mismatched parts into a functional whole. Once again, you notice the circinate symbol. Okay, look through the orbiting holes. You step too close, and one of the anomalies hisses past your hip, like a disc made of razors. One of your pouches feels heavier. It seems the anomaly has left you a present. Just gave me money. It's an oddity. It said use. Use. Translucent panes spin behind the smooth glass of this cube, often defying the dimensions containing them. I was about to sell that, by the way. Should I not have sold all my other oddities? Oh, I may have made a huge mistake. You catch glimpses of various objects or scenes contained within. You clear your throat involuntarily, and the pace of the spinning goes even faster, as though the cube were waiting for you to speak or ask a question. Can I only ask one question? Let's put the cube away. Can I activate it again? Okay. Oh man. Let's make a save. We might consider scumming this, but I want to know if it's a one-time use. Who am I? The spinning panes within the cube slow, then halt entirely, revealing a single image at the center of the cube. Sickly animals huddled around a diseased pond. The object fades particle by particle with no further explanation. You've either received the exact answer to your question through an idiom you have no hope of grasping, or the cube completely misunderstood you. I'm looking for someone named Matkina. The spinning panes within the cube slow, then halt entirely, revealing a single image at the center of the cube. A long purple vegetable of some kind, sliced lengthwise to reveal orange seeds. The object disappears behind the spinning panes as the cube prepares for your next question. What? Purple vegetable with orange seeds. Why is the sorrow hunting? A 13-legged insect pinned by the edge of a book. What are you? It goes opaque, and then... Okay. I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. Can you explain? 4 slender, overlong fingers laid upon a pale wrist. Okay, I think we hold on to this. This is perhaps more interesting than I initially thought, or it could just be
Why not?
not at all interesting. Maybe it's a red herring. Try to activate. You scan the part that are accessible from the ground, but you don't see anything that resembles a control. Finally, you give up your search. If the arch can be activated at all, the method is unclear. Perhaps it can only be activated by the words of its creator, or someone designated by that person. Such things are not known. A house of empty time.
On it.
You look through the holes in space again. You lock your eyes on a hole, watching it orbit. Sometimes the building it passes in front of are still there. Sometimes they're on fire. Most of the time over, nothing lies beyond the hole, but black and waste and burning dust. Look again. A sizzling beam shoots out of the hole and strikes you dead in the eye. It doesn't hurt in the slightest. Instead, your mind is briefly filled with the mouth-watering image of a slab of grilled something and the chummy tones of an advertiser's sales pitch in a language you don't recognize. Utter darkness. Okay. I like that there are multiples if you just keep looking. I like that a lot. Okay, so we could go see the order. This goes to the caravan.
Yes.
And that goes nowhere. We don't know what this is. Oh, this is the council tower.
Naturally.
Behind a lectern, a four-eyed, hairless mutant processes papers with balletic grace. He's endlessly snapping the elegant fingers on his left hand, and each time the air twists and shimmers, either disgorging a document to be processed or accepting one that he's completed with his ink-stained right hand. Each of his eyes regards a distinct object, portals that are opening, preambles and recitals that it must be reviewed, his own addenda that must be flawless. One eye twitches in your direction. Exaggerated scorn twists his mouth, and though his eye remains fixed on your face, he gives no verbal acknowledgement. The closest he comes is a faint sigh. At last, after shunting a half-dozen more documents to some distant cubby, he condescends to speak. You must wait, of course, until council matters conclude. His quarter gaze leaves you. His face returns to its former equanimity and continues work. How long do you expect it to take? The clerk rolls his idle eyes skyward, then answers in a tone that feigns having been worn down by endless pestering petitioners, though as far as you can see, you're the only one bold enough to bother him. Consider in a city, so vast a city, what ordinances must be registered, contracts memorialized, indictments docketed, discoveries cataloged, edicts promulgated, memoranda routed, applications processed, permits issued, titles recorded. For such consideration, you may draw your own conclusions. Anything I can do to hurry it along? The clerk continues his masterful shuffling of papers from one portal to another, flicking a closed scroll through a gateway with a particularly deft gesture. Then he turns not one, but two eyes your way. If you're inquiring whether I would let your sweating butcher's fingers touch the council's paperwork, I fear for the state of your mind. Of course, it is customary to render a small gratuity in thanks to civil service. He wants to bribe me? He wants me to bribe him. Scatter his papers. I'm gonna wait until you're done. Without disrupting the grace of his filing, the clerk shrugs his shoulders. I'm pleased that you recognize your place in the hierarchy of needs. What exactly is the customary gratuity? 60 shins. 60 bucks. Just wait for him to finish. You stand and watch as paper after paper emerges and disappears into the shimmering portals opened by the clerk's power. If he is aware of your lingering presence, he gives no sign of it, except perhaps by the fact that his idle eye, during its occasional wanderings, seemed to scrupulously avoid the spot on which you are standing. You soon learn that there are few things more tedious than watching the endless, inscrutable turning of bureaucracy's gears. Just keep waiting. You wait and wait, then wait some more, but the clerk's workload remains unchanged. Settle in for a long, exhausting wait. Undeterred by the tedium of the clerk's tasks, by the ache in your joints from standing in place too long, you decide to test your will against the clerk's. Hours pass. We're demoralized. At last, though his work has not changed in any perceptible way, the clerk turns a faintly horrified eye in your direction. Lest I be charged with abetting loitering, I suppose I must entertain your questions. So what is it? What do you want? I want some questions. Also, what is this negative thing that we have? Minus 20. Oh, that's terrible. That's a horrible. -4, essentially, on our will saves. -2 on our armor class. -3 to all of our everythings. Okay, maybe we don't do that. I think it is very funny, but I don't want to. I will still accept that if I do this last. But I've got other things to do in the city. Okay, we'll go through the same dialogue. I'm gonna wait until you're done. Anything I do to hurry things along? What's the gratuity? 60 bucks. We don't have anyone that can do this. 60 bucks is too much. We're not merchants haggling over the price of an anine, sir. Custom does not bend to circumstance, nor do civilized people chisel at gifts. Let's just pay the dude. Without a word, the clerk snaps his fingers and whisks your shins into a newly opened portal. Though you have paid the demanded bribe, the clerk's manners grows, if anything, even more high-handed. What exactly must you trouble me with? I want some questions. Who are you and what are you doing? I'm neither a tourist attraction nor a docent. I am the council clerk, and unto me falls the responsibility of directing the fate of every official document in Sega's Cliffs. I am the mind that channels the blind, nervous impulses of the city and turns it into muscular action. Why are you doing this work all outside in front of everybody? Nature, of course, provides every being with its proper niche, and here my power to bend space, my divisible vision, and my unerring integrity allow me to carry out a task no other in the ninth world could possibly undertake. A venal man, a distractible man, an ordinary man would break beneath the temptation and strain, but not I. What is the council? Paper governs Sagus Cliffs. Paper allows the few to rule over the many. Paper allows the many to organize into a single whole. Authority resides in diktats, compacts, agenda, the means by which thoughts are refined, disseminated, and preserved. These chittering things are really annoying. Of course, the council has a part as well. Each of the great slave families sends a representative. They dicker and bicker until they form the will embodied in the paper, the I in their clay. Think about the history. Why exactly would an overburdened clerk be able or willing to recite this city's sad tale of decline? Here is what the documents themselves reveal, not in their words, but in their very selves. Centuries ago, when the Ninth World was fresh, the city began. Its founders kept meticulous records, all lost. Only the columbarium that held them remains. A time of aristocrats followed. Each paterfamilias, paternal families, traced his lineage to ancient heroes and inscribed these lies in stone. Today, those tablets pave the midden heaps built in the wake of Chilla's rebellion. The midden heaps. The midden heap, isn't that like a heap of like tossed shells and bones? The midden? That came later. First came the Tabat, and as they laid siege to Sagus Cliffs, the city's records degraded. Like hygiene and decency, poor documentation falters in long years of terror. The siege failed and the Tabat vanished. Next, an age of decadence. The long gestating consequences of the aristocracy's even more outlandish choices. In screeds, they laid out their reasons to the people, not to explain, but to mock. Naturally, rebellion followed. Chila cast down the old lords and raised up new slave families. An empire expanded, contracted. Holidays and boulevards changed names, all else persisted. Corruption most of all. At last, a new clerk came bringing order, and here we are. You must have uncovered some fascinating stories in all this paperwork. Naturally. The clerk replies, but for a moment, notions of privacy and probity keep him quiet. Then one of his eyes flickers your direction, and you can see he's avid to indulge the twin pleasures of the voyeur and the gossip. There's this from an ambassador sent to the Steadfast. Today, with great ceremony, the Aeon priest buried a man said to have lived for 277 years. I asked how this graybeard had lasted so long and was told as follows. 300 years ago, there was a painting of a spectacular beauty hung in the Durkle, a relic from before the Ninth World. For reasons unknown, the work was incomplete. The Amber Pope believed that if finished, it would reveal a truth about human nature that had eluded all intellectual inquiry. He proclaimed that whatever painter could complete it would receive a cipher that would enable him to live for 250 more years. Great artists flocked to the Durkle to examine the masterpiece, but when they saw it, none dared lift a brush. At last, a young whitewasher approached, carrying brushes and rollers and buckets of paint. I can finish this, he declared. The Amber Pope nodded, and the boy flung an entire bucket of paint across the canvas. The blank region was filled, but the painting was splattered with white, its majesty gone. The Pope held to his vow and bestowed longevity upon the whitewasher. He was, however, borne to the torture pits below the Durkle, where he remained until that very day when at last his long life ceased. He got what he wanted, I guess. Okay. Another story? After Chila tore down the old ruling families, there was a time when the council stripped the euphemisms from its ledgers, and one sees such and such paid for racking a nobleman. This has really bothered me, this noise. Till he gave up his stash of shins and such to settle the claims of mothers bereft of their children by rampaging mobs. One can debate whether this is shamelessness or transparency, but has yielded an entry of terse brilliance, a sum allotted for the assassin to dispose of said whale. Is writing, though. I've just been talking non-stop for 2.5 hours. Gotta take a breath. Okay. In a less literal age, said whale might have been the spendthrift scion of a mercantile clan or a contessa of grand scale, but not here. These were funds requisitioned to assassinate a whale, no more, no less. And best of all, it seems the mission failed. One wonders, how does an assassin miss a whale? Have you know a story? Red ink. For centuries, the council's amanuensis, yeah, that word, would record the council's commentary on proposed legislation with red ink. Then the draft law would be returned to the solicitors in the basement of the council tower to frame anew. You see? And then abruptly, the annotations are in blue ink. Why? One finds in the criminal docket an entry concerning a solicitor executed for waste of official resources, to wit, 8,216 liters of red ink. Drowning was the sentence. I suppose he was not drowned in red ink. Draft after draft after draft. It seems he could never get it quite right. So, no more red ink. Any more stories? I've indulged your curiosity far enough. Are you sure? Okay. Talk about your paperwork. Do you have any records about someone named Matkina? I've seen the name in far too many requisitions for discretionary funds. Okay, so they're hiring her. With confident but deliberate speed, he reviews a series of documents which seem to confirm his initial impression. She does not appear as a citizen, nor in any census. Indeed, she is mentioned nowhere but on ledgers and requisitions. Needless to say, these are transactions whose nature is not specified. What are you doing with all the papers? I'm taking them from where they were to where they must be by bending the space between. And as they pass across my lectern, I assure that they are properly prepared. To the body politic, I serve as heart, kidney, and nervous system all in one. Before I undertook this role, the council employed layers and layers of logothetes, scriveners, registrars, and couriers, each corruptible, vulnerable, insular. The Memovira's tendrils grew through the cracks in that teetering edifice. But now there's only myself. Had I not come to this office, I wonder who would rule this city. Who's the Memovira? Some builders raise monuments of marble, others tear the monuments down, cook the marble to lime, mix the lime into concrete, and use the concrete to make hardened bunkers. Organizations can be made the same way, and people. The Memovira has demolished many things, and from the rubble has built an impenetrable organization of hardened souls. You would be wise to keep your distance, but you don't look wise. Yeah, I don't. Where can I find them? The Bloom. Sometimes it seems one can indeed judge a book by its cover. I think that's everything. $60 for the lore drop. We'll say worth, right? Totally worth. Sigan, what's up? This woman is dressed much like the levies who flank her, but unlike them, her expression is sober and alert. Her hair is cut short, the corners of her eyes wrinkled with crow's feet. A little swarm of mechanical drones circles around her, buzzing messages in her ears. She whispers replies in return, and every so often one of them whisks away, disappearing into the city. What is it, citizen? No, you're not you're the one they call Adon. I heard you were in the city. It's been 10 years since your last visit. I was too young to know you then, but the drones remember. Hold on. Adon. Isn't that the name from Planescape Torment? Like, you could fake that as your name. I don't think I actually ever did that. I remember that line, though. That's a crazy connection. You're the one they call Adon. It's been 10 years. I was too young to know you then, but the drones remember. Okay, I'm still confused then about this whole cast-off thing. How could this body of a person have met anyone? I thought when they talk about the changing God and the cast-off is that they literally create a body and soul and then are that body and soul, and then the changing God leaves. It leaves the body and a new soul appears. I didn't think it was the changing God takes over someone else's existing body. Because, like, that doesn't make sense to me. Along with that mercenary we talked to, how could we possibly have met anyone? Oh, hold on. I'm already answering my own question. It's because we weren't conscious of any of the things we were doing before then because we were controlled by the one God. We didn't gain consciousness. So our body would have been, it could have been here 10 years ago. Okay, it makes sense to me now. People will recognize us, and we will have no memory of them because when the last time we talked to them, we were the ever-changing God. Now we're just some cast-off. What do the drones remember about me? On cue, two of her attendant drones dip closer to her ear, emitting a stream of raspy noise that might be some sort of language. You kept to your own affairs, but everywhere you went, the city held its breath. People deferred to you, even the ones with power and influence. You looked the same as you do now, exactly the same. I want to know why, and if you don't mind telling me, I want to know what you're doing here now. I do mind telling you. I'm looking for a woman named Matkina. I didn't see any reason to lie to this woman. The White Death. Her expression goes flat, but her eyes flick to your tattoo again. I should have guessed that. If Matkina is all you want... Oh. Because we would have the same tattoo. Her and I would have the same tattoo. Right. I should have guessed that. If Matkina is all you want, then you should ask for her in the underbelly. That's the last place any of my drones saw her, and the levies don't venture there. And if you leave the city afterward, I'd be very happy if you took her with you. What was it you wanted? Who are you? Captain of levies. Okay, what are the levies? I already know this. Soldiers in the council service that keep order in the city. Every citizen is required to raise a levy. I know this one already. I already know how they're raised. Wait, anyone who lives in the city can become a citizen at 16, or the equivalent if they're not human. There's only one requirement. They step into a machine at the order of truth, and it takes away a year of their life. And it uses that year to create a levy. That 1 year is all the levy gets. When it's over, it dies. That's so weird. Do they keep every district safe? Not the underbelly, right? Yeah. Cliff's Edge lives under no laws at all. Oh, that was that other zone. Cliff's Edge. That's like the outskirts, I'm guessing? Yeah, who keeps the order in the underbelly? A man called Folsom. I don't know anything about him. I doubt that very much. Why don't you send levies to Cliff's Edge? A lot of homes have been collapsing and the city hasn't been able to help. The council believes that the presence of levies could incite them to violence. Yeah, they seem awfully happy. A smile and a pleasant demeanor could have 100 explanations, yet this whole city is fooled by them. I know the levies better than anyone, so the truth is plain to me, though I'd be lying if I claimed to truly understand them. Sure they're not happy? They only seem so. They're not. No doubt about it, huh? What were you saying to the drones? They carry my orders to levies all over the city, and they bring reports from the levies back to me. A few years ago, the Aeon priests found them buried underground and brought them back to life. I learned their language, so our conversations are safe from prying ears. Couldn't someone else just also learn that language? What's the building behind you? How is it that you don't recognize the seat of government? I know you lived here for a time. Yeah, too focused on my studies, I guess. Sounds like something an Aeon priest would say, but they're savvier than they pretend to be. Some of them, anyway. The council meets in there, a representative from every slave family and from some of the guilds, depending upon who's in favor. Hardly anyone goes in through these doors, though they're just a formality. Most people have other ways of getting inside and out. You don't like Matkina? I don't like assassins, especially good ones. I don't like the temptation they represent to people in power, to the people I'm supposed to serve. They make it too easy to solve problems discreetly. Let's not narc on the clerk. We're good on that. So we can't go in. But we may have been able to go in earlier had we done Tiber's quest the way he wanted us to do it. Should we go to the Order of Truth?
Of course.
Of course. Why wouldn't we? It's gonna be a big
Yes.
area.
Now.
Okay, and this is your people, yeah? You know these people, yes? Salamari. Did we talk to you? That name sounds familiar. This tall, stately woman studies the air with the intense focus of an artisan. She senses your approach and faces you. Concentration turns to surprise, then awe-tinged anger. Adon. Wait, that was her. Everyone knows me. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I haven't seen you in 10 years. 10 years. I cannot begin to imagine what your excuse might be. I became aware of a plot against my life. I mean, just saying I'm not Adon, she's not going to believe it anyway. I had to flee the city. A plot, just one, please. It would take nothing short of an army to send you into hiding. A smile booms. Oh, of course. You're not Adon, you're cast off. Really, you should have said. I've met members of your little family before, of course. Trailing around in that shadow, looking for clues or trying to repair the damage. I can help you if you like, but I need something from you first. Sounds interesting. Doesn't it? Well, it's a bit of a long pitch, so do let me know when you're ready to talk it over. Let's do everything else. I have some questions about the changing god. Good. Curiosity about your origin is quite healthy. I will be happy to share what I know once you've completed that favor for me. What is it that you'd say that you do here? I study the ruins and remnants of the past worlds. When I have time, of course. These days, the Order spends more of its time helping the city than its own research. Still laboring under lesser minds, dear? I've never understood how you put up with it. It's quite simple. They pay. That helps a great deal. You'll be staying with us for long this time. I think not. Busy times ahead, I'm afraid. I'm trying to repair something called a resonance chamber. Ah, that contraption. I'd be delighted to help, as I was before, but I'll need you to do that little favor for me first. Enter the anechoic lazaret and make it safe for me to resume my work there. If you seek assistance from the others in my order, do be careful. I suspect one of them is an informant for the Memovira. Too many of our finds have been pillaged by her thugs. I mean, we kind of know this. There's a spy. Almost certainly. But I let Min worry about that. Spies aren't a problem if you never share your secrets. We learned about the Memovira already. Crime lord in the bloom. She's quite a bit more than that. In all ways that matter, she rules that tangled cesspit. Her spies are everywhere. What was your advice? Do me a favor. Okay. Let's talk about the favor. course. This is the anechoic lazaret. Lazaret? Who knows? It has been hopelessly sealed since the dawn of the 5th or the 9th world until I managed it in a week or two. It was quite simple once we figured out the trick. I've been slipping in and out at nights, investigating the technology within, taking notes. Then, more recently, I discovered that the structure was sealed again. I believe someone tramped inside with no regard for the dangers and managed to trigger a failsafe that resealed the structure. I need someone to reopen it again and handle whatever nonsense the trespassers have stirred in their wake. Can you handle it yourself? Oh, certainly. Perhaps I could draw upon my literal seconds of combat experience and deal with the potentially violent intruders in a series of sporting one-on-one duels. On second thought, perhaps we should play it safe. I want you to take care of this for me. Needless to say, I would also prefer the structure in an undamaged state, as I left it. Well, there it is. Will you help? Yeah.
I'm making a note.
Excellent. Metallic eye. Jikanzu metallic stalk-like flower. This, as you likely know, is the eye of a Mlox, and how I originally accessed the structure. The fact that the lazaret recognizes this organ as an authorized user implies that its builders were machine intelligences, maybe a machine civilization from before the dawn of the 9th world. Well, on your way, do watch your step in the reef. It can be quite dangerous. It's down in the reef. Did we? Oh yeah, there was that the door we couldn't get into. I remember that. What should we know about the interior? Is it dangerous? It wasn't, but since I suspect someone or something got trapped inside, be careful and do try to avoid breaking anything. What is it anyway? I'm not quite ready to issue definitive answers on the topic. I suspect it was once a place of healing or quarantine for machine intelligences. Even if I'm wrong, this is the find of many, many lifetimes. Few remnants of the prior worlds are ever so intact. So anytime I ask a question, I'm getting this blue tide, it seems. So that just like, does that mean curiosity? Wait, legacy expert. Dominant tides, silver and blue. Yeah, we're getting a lot of those ones. Oh, wait. Did we get these explanations before? I don't think we did we? Silver represents prestige, power, and renown. People tuned to this tide desire admiration and respect, all the more because of the influence it gives them in the lives of others. Leaders, celebrities, heroes, and autocrats are often attuned to this tide. The blue tide represents wisdom, reason, and enlightenment. People attuned to this tide seek information and the preservation of knowledge in all forms, whether scientific or spiritual. Scholars, teachers, guides, and mystics are often attuned to this tide. Okay, I thought this was an alignment thing. This is more personality-based, I guess? I don't know what it, like, does, though. I don't know if we get, like, dialogue options because of this. I have no idea. Okay. So we shouldn't. There's a spy among us. Amogus. A spy
Yes.
Amogus. Min is the leader. This priest is tall, thin, and dressed only in black. Narrow slashes of oil decorate his unlined skin like letters in an unknown tongue. His eyes are harried but alive with intelligent humor. They land on you with a tiny flicker of recognition. Adon? Hello, Callista. Here to work or just visit? The smile you noted is the slightest bit strained. I like that perception. Just a bit of business. Have you ever heard anything about a resonance chamber? We're looking for a way to repair. Hey. Let me do the talking. We don't want to let everyone in on this. You're what? I thought that thing was a myth, and you're trying to repair it. Where is it? I mean, I'd rather not say. Ah, probably wise. Anyway, do you have any piece of the machine with you? Yeah, I got this thing. Organic and crystalline. It was grown into the appropriate shape for the machine. This is definitely what Salamari was working on all those years ago with her partner. Is that the person we just talked to? He looks at you, his eyebrow raised, but does not say more. Reluctantly, he hands it back to you. In all honesty, I focus more on traditionally powered machines. Selimari has some experience with organic machine construction. You might ask her about it. What's the thing behind you? It makes levies, the guardians of Sagus. Our records say that, oh, we met her already, found a similar device in the ruins of Arcopalasia, far to the north. He convinced the city that a local version, a modified one, would be of use. In order to become a citizen, yeah, we know it. What if someone only has a year to live? Yeah, how does that work? No, they never die in the machine, but it catches up with them a few days later. That doesn't happen very often. Sometimes I think the machine actually saves them, prevents them from meeting whatever fate was in store, but not always. At any rate, the levies created by the machines are nearly identical, and they only last a year. After that, they quietly return to the machine and dissolve into, gray gunk. It's incredibly unpleasant to watch, but they don't seem to mind. That's disgusting. Yeah, like I said, it's not fun to watch, but they don't scream or thrash around. And then their gunk gets used when the next soon-to-be citizen strolls through the machine. Nothing gets wasted except for the bits that wash down the drain. Can't do anything about that. Anyway, that's the machine. Talk about something else. Selimari told me there's a spy. We think so, but not because we've seen people in dark cloaks creeping around. We've lost dig sites to her thugs. Maybe people, too. We can't be sure because we never find any traces of them. We'll catch the spy, only a matter of time. Can you tell me about your work? Yeah, that's a big question, even in the best of days. I specialize in mechanical Numenera, intelligent or not, but I haven't had much time for research since I started managing our branch of the Order. Can I ask you a question? I would be incredibly grateful if you did. Every other conversation I have revolves around how I'm ruining the Order or not doing enough to save the Order. Please, ask me about wires and blinking lights. What is the Order? Good question. We live on the surface of a vast labyrinth of layered ruins packed with relics and artifacts, windows into the past. Some people are content to find them, use them, and sell them, but not the Order of Truth, not the Aeon Priests. We want to understand them, study them, point at them, and argue about them. Now, in the West, the Order of Truth is much bigger than this little enclave. It's a vast organization led by the Amber Pope. Out there, our words turn the heads of kings. Around here, we occasionally get discounts on equipment from local vendors and a free cup of tea. Not that I'm complaining. How did a chapter end up here? It was founded 300 years ago by a Vargellan nano named, yeah, I know her. That's his statue, or him. He governed, or could you say ruled, the Order with more force than you see in traditional chapters. He set us up in this spire, hand-picked new members, and chose them for particular projects of his design. We're not quite that organized these days, for better or worse. Leaders are chosen by consent of the other priests and priestesses, and they don't have a say in what everyone works on. They just deal with the politics and the paperwork so that everyone else can focus on their ruinous side projects and hideously dangerous experiments. Which is to say, I'm the leader because I'm the only one who admits we need to eat. Leadership's a lonely path. I wish that were true. I'm rarely lonely. People visit me all the time. Usually furious and waving their hands, but someone has to deal with the world outside these walls. The slave families, for some reason, aren't interested in funding wild, endless experimentation. They like results, especially weaponizable ones. So I reviewed their requests, deflect the crazier ones, and convince my colleagues to work for a living occasionally. We also create the levies. Yep. Good to see that Sagus makes scholars live in the real world. It's a shame the Order has to earn its keep in this city. Well, it has its ups and downs. Some of our people could use some grounding. What else do you want to know? How long have you been here? Well, it's not actually a building, first of all, and neither is the Council Tower. Take a closer look when you get a chance. They're ships. We think they were used to explore the void between the stars long before Segwis was founded. They may be millions of years old, in fact. Now, of course, they're almost completely sealed in rock. The only other parts you can see up close are the engines down in the underbelly. The city uses them as forge fires and energy sources. That's actually really interesting. So they're are basically enormous rockets that are now sealed away. That's kind of cool. Actually, that's not the only part. We use some of the lower decks for storage, but you can't see those. Very secret. I saw your founder was the Changed God or a cast-off. It's possible. His behavior matches the stories I've heard about the Changing God, but he hasn't exactly shown up here to pick where he left off. If you're right, maybe he just lost interest. There are a lot of Aeon priests here? Yes, but they're not strictly here. Some are out on digs or various expeditions. We only have a few Aeon priests in the city right now. There's Selameri, who I mentioned before. Beeleazar, yeah, we met that guy. Orth Fong is an expert in inexplicable and malicious architecture and should be back soon. Malicious architecture. And Snurf, of course, a visitant who's developed an interest in all forms of reproduction. It isn't one of us, and I don't think it wants to be, but we gave it space to work on its projects. Don't go over there unless you've invented a way to scrub your memory clean. Also, Lan Uring, of course. He's been educated in the Order, but he's still looking for a discovery that will make him an Aeon priest. Okay, so there's like a apprenticeship process. Okay, nice talking with you. Push the button.
Ready.
This machine is a chaotic assemblage of metal tanks and tubings. A work table mounted with spare parts stands beside it, and it's connected by wires to an oddly familiar sarcophagus and other devices. Examine it. As it turns out, there is very little to examine. Every access point to the machine has been carefully sealed. Some of the hatches and panels are worn with use. They're likely accessed by the Order when they perform maintenance on the machine. Others are gleaming, ornate locks with twisted keyholes, unmarred by the scratches and nicks of careless everyday use. You run your hands across the surface and feel the ghost of another person's hands doing the same. Why does it look so familiar? So I don't understand this. This is basically telling me this is what you would normally be at. This is your +1 bonus automatically, and then I can put one more point because we have a max of 2. Okay, now I get it. I just had to think it out loud. The memory opens like a gaping mouth and closes around you. Hot wind pulls at your robes. Jagged grit claws at your eyes. Squinting through the storm, you see the machine, half buried in the sand. Curiously, you wedge open a panel. Inside is a sphere, sparkling like a jewel, but soft to the life drains from you into the sphere like blood from a wound. The machine is stealing your life. Growling, you return the favor, ripping the sphere from the machine and regarding it with cold eyes. That's past life, finding this machine and realizing what it does. The memory releases you abruptly, leaving you panting in front of the machine, which is not the ruined monstrosity your predecessor discovered in the Archopalasian ruins. You know, however, the orb is sealed somewhere inside the device. Pick through the spare parts on the table. You sort through the jumbled components. There aren't many, nor are there any duplicates. Knock on the side of the machine. Again. Again. One more time. Okay. Snurf.
Yes. Now.
Interact. We can loot. We can loot.
Of course.
Weird prism. A small wireframe pyramid sits on a base of polished wood. Lying inside the pyramid is a dull sphere of silverous metal. Look at the sphere. Suspended in its wire cage, the sphere is almost perfectly sized to fit in your palm. The gaps in the wiry mesh are large enough for you to reach through it, though not large enough to pull the sphere out. So it's like a puzzle. Examine the frame. The frame appears to be fixed firmly in place. It's constructed of an organic material, grown in a manner similar to bone or coral. Thinner, veil-like strands of material wind across each of the triangular sides. Something strikes you as odd, but you can't quite determine it. What's so odd about it? While examining the frame, you try nudging it gently, and it shifts in a most peculiar manner. You focus on moving the frame in various directions and discover that it can be easily lifted straight off the base and lowered back onto it, but it refuses to move laterally, even while being held in mid-air. Interesting. Examine the base. The base appears to be made from a slab of lurid red stone. On closer inspection, you recognize it as a petrified wood of some kind. An inscription has been written on the base in front of the pyramid. Okay, what is it? Inscription is in an alien tongue. It has been burned into the wood and then filled with a luminous substance. Though you know you haven't seen the language in your own short life as a cast-off, it still seems familiar. 50% of the time, it works every time. A distant memory surfaces. You're standing before a large metal cylinder that looms a meter or two above your head. The cylinder is a time capsule of sorts, and you're convinced that what lies within it is crucial to your latest experiments. The problem, alas, is that the capsule is locked, and the only clue to opening it is a series of strange glyphs etched into its sides. Glancing around, you see dusty tomes, faded banners, metal scraps, and dozens of other objects, all featuring the same strange glyphs. You spent a lifetime collecting every trace of this language that could be found, and decades of study have finally led to this moment. You look upon the glyphs, and you know their meaning. Stepping forward, you reach toward the cylinder, as prescribed by the etchings, and it flares to life. Shaking off the memory, you look down at the inscription and realizing that its meaning is now clear. The crimson dawn greets the seer, the seeker. The violent dusk sees the search's end. What does that mean? Let's leave it alone for now. And save, and then touch it.
Right.
As you extend your hand toward the sphere, the thinner strands along the front side of the cage retract toward the thicker frame edges, creating an opening large enough for the sphere to fit through. Read the inscription again, it didn't change. Take it. You pull the sphere out of the frame through the opening facing you, and it immediately begins to glow a scintillating blue. You pause a moment to make sure there's no other effects, then try to put it with the rest of your belongings. At some point during this motion, the sphere simply vanishes, only to reappear within the frame, once again a dull gray. Apparently taking the sphere will not be easy. Crimson dawn grants the seeker. The violet dusk sees the search's end. Are we supposed to come back here at a certain time of day? Dawn greets the seeker. What does that mean? And violet dusk sees this. So, like, only during the daytime can we see how to take it out, but only nighttime can we actually take it out? Is there a clock somewhere? Is there a day-night cycle, and is it passing now? I have no idea.
All right.
Abhumans of the Sagas Protectorate. Study of savagery. I mean, yoink. I don't know if we're going to use that later.
Yes. Now. Yes. Now.
This desk is cluttered with scrawled notes, piles of paper, and worn books. The owner was either extremely disorganized or left in a hurry. Obviously, we're looking at it. You rustle through the mess of documents and notes. Most of them discuss the buildings and architecture of prior worlds. They're filled with drawings and descriptions of bizarre structures uncovered by scholars and explorers. The owner of this desk seems to have been particularly interested in doors, door frames, and archways. He's drawn circles around all such things, but his scrawled comments are never more revealing than similar but not a match. Or could there be connection here? Is this the same as that gate we saw outside? Perhaps a foreign script that isn't familiar to you. Odd.
Sure enough.
Lan and Snurf. Hey, Lan. The thin young man smiles hesitantly as you approach. You notice a small metallic ovoid protruding from his skull, nearly hidden by his disheveled hair. The fingers of his left hand tap nervously on his leg as he speaks. I'm not a real priest yet, if that's what you were thinking. Usually visitors only talk to me because they think I'm a priest, but I'm still a novice. What's your area of study? What? You want to know what I'm working on? Are you sure? Absolutely. I'm designing an intelligence, but not the normal kind, not just metal or with a dependent intelligence rigging system. No, it's larger than that, stronger. He's actually taller than me, okay? The idea is this: an intelligence that can find, test, identify, and fully understand Numenera. We can unlock the secrets of lost civilizations. Do you understand? If we do this, we can break the chains binding us to the past and turn them into reins with which to steer the future. That seems useful. No one get hurt testing them on themselves anymore. Oh, of course. It's only a theory, though, for now. I don't have the funding, not yet, but I've seen studying machines with Min when he can spare the time, and he likes my ideas, even if he thinks they're impossible. I think he's disappointed I'm not a real Aeon priest yet. Impossible seems harsh. And inaccurate. Once I'm an Aeon priest, everything will change. Only full Aeon priests have access to the Order's funds. I can use them to build a full prototype. Min might protest, but he'll understand once I get the design right. I just need to get it right, that's all. So what do you need to become a priest? You have to make a major discovery. A mystery that's remained unsolved for a long time. But I spent too much time on my own research. I haven't gotten anywhere. What's the deal with your head? It's not just on my forehead, not just the skin, I mean. It's bonded with my skull. It keeps me awake and alert. I don't get tired until it runs out of power. Powers it. Dreams. The scarier ones, the better. Okay, before we tell him knowledge, what if he's a spawn? Is that allowed? You're devoted to research. Look at this as an interested colleague supporting your studies. Thank you. I'm ready. What discoveries have you made? What discoveries will help you? Really major ones. The causes of long-standing problems in the city, for example, or solving a mystery that's remained unexplained for a long time. If I find something, I'll let you know. Did I get like a quest for this? I just have to remember that. I mean, that's fine. All right, Snurf. What's up? Slouched before you is a figure clad in a dusty, unremarkable robe. Loose folds of rough cloth shift to reveal a vaguely humanoid form with elongated facial features and two elaborate biomechanical arms. You can't help but notice the size, shape, and even the number of its digits changing as it tinkers with a bizarre-looking device on the table. It glances up at you. Its eyes are the size of your palms. You realize it is a visitant, a being from another world. Greetings, fellow sentient. I will be with you in a moment. There. I am Snurf, guest of the Order of Truth. What brings you to my workshop? I didn't quite catch your name. How do you pronounce it again? Ah, you are hearing a brief Elysian in my name, correct? A majority of the component syllables are untranslatable or beyond human ranges of hearing. I will try to approximate them. Snellenarnga, with a brief poem about the ambient temperature of dust in moon. Gonthus, the word that describes a color similar to blue. Ramalerf. I prefer the name your people here. My name is all too common where I come from. Snurf. Those arms of yours are interesting. How do they function? I'm not quite sure. They seem to be as sentient as either of us, but obedient so as long as I keep them busy. Otherwise, they scramble about while I rest, touching things, picking locks, strangling their odd rodent. I forced them to take up knitting. Your curiosity honors me. I came through the bloom from another world. To be absolutely honest, I was exiled for inadvertent sacrilege and perversion. Inadvertent. I would imagine that you are curious about my people's reproductive processes at this point. I would be happily describe them. The more detail, the better. Certainly, no detail shall be spared. It's rather complicated topic, however, so let me know when you're ready to speak at length. Where are you from again? Another world. I do miss it sometimes, but I cannot return. What are you working on? A minor project of mine. Something to widen the boundaries of my research. It scans for unknown reproductive processes and displays them for further study. Watch. A transparent image of two goat-headed humanoids appears over the device. At first, it seems they are wrestling each other. After a moment, you realize your mistake. Copulating Marger. Fascinating. You're gonna be rich. What? No? The device itself will not be for sale. I'm writing a book about it. I see. I'm ready to hear about your people's methods of procreation. Deprived of the layers of sociological complexity, the process is quite simple. At a certain age, my people ceremoniously choose a limb for removal. The limb is grown into a new being. Children, in your terminology. This is where matters get more complicated. The selected part relegates the child to a caste. Armed children became laborers. Leg children become warriors. And head children, due to the sacrifice implied in their creation, become leaders. As I've suggested, the limbs we surrender do not grow back. In fact, those who replace their limbs insult their children and sin against their people. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. You're correct, unfortunately. I surrendered my arms to create my children. They grew to maturity, and joined me in my study of various Voidborn Numenera. For a time, we were happy. Then I discovered a melted humanoid figurine. I did no more than glance at its folded arms before it opened its eyes. That is the last thing I remember. I awoke with the arms you see now. My children, thinking I had disowned them, disowned me, and my people were even less merciful. I'm sorry that happened to you. Your sympathy is appreciated, but not warranted. I have found other ways to take my mind off the loss of my family and my people since.
I think I'm ready to try something new.
Why did we say that? It was only when I began visiting other worlds that I learned that most species do not reproduce by severing their limbs. The discovery fascinated me, and so I began cataloging the various methods of procreation found throughout the void. It was only when I found my way to Sagas Cliffs by way of the Bloom that I was offered a place to work here in the Order of Truth. And there you have it. Tell me about one of these reproductive processes you find so fascinating. palarails. Though they are brutal creatures formed from organic and inorganic substances, they do share certain characteristics with my people. They do not have genders and reproduce by expelling an organic mass deep into the moist, fertile soil. The mass eventually grows into an autonomous being. You ever make it with a Nevagene? Tibber. Back. I think you've misunderstood. I don't engage in intercourse with the various creatures I study. I did once. At least, I think I did. Both of us were very drunk. Tell me more. Flesh pups, or skin swimmers, are particularly interesting, if somewhat gruesome. The tiny parent painlessly invades a host organism who does not notice the parasite until a painful, rigid swelling appears on their torso or neck. Once the host is drained of nutrients, the boil bursts, releasing a glistening flood of newborn pups. Okay. Is this topic making you uncomfortable? Don't be ridiculous. It's simply that I despise lectures without visual aids. Tell me more. Zyomarch, also called rot blooms, fell their prey with venomous stingers and plant their fertilized eggs directly into the corpse. In little more than a week, their children are born, thrusting up through the decaying, yielding flesh like flowers in bloom. Tell me more. The human method is particularly fascinating and intricate. It involves... Oh, I beg your pardon. Please, do go on. Really? Is this your first time hearing about sexual reproduction? Yes, please, I'm listening. Gladly. Human sexual reproduction, at the simplest level, requires genetic material from all of the partners, which can range from 2 to 29. At the beginning of the ritual, the partners often remove their clothes, masks, and expensive shoes to reveal their flesh to the other members and any watching deities. Pardon me, but are you all right? I'm listening. Please go on.
I think I'm ready to try something new.
Of course. As I was saying, once the clothing and accessories have been successfully discarded, intercourse can begin. With a mighty cry, the dominant participant exposes their abdomen, and all other members of the coital cluster prepare themselves for supreme pleasure. I have inadequate information on the next portion, but I'm told that penetration occurs. My subjects were somewhat vague on what was penetrating what. At any rate, once all the partners are satisfied, they conclude the sex act with a firm handshake. Between the two of us, I believe that most of that information was fabricated as a joke at my expense. Fortunately, I have been invited to observe a human mating ritual next week. I look forward to adjusting my data. Next week, I'm going to be to that one too. I'll keep an eye out for you. Unless I'm blindfolded, of course. You have to find some other way to let me know you're there. I shall endeavor to do so. How do I get to invite to this ritual? No idea. Couldn't even tell you how I got invited to the first one, and that was months ago. But I'll try to whisper your name in the right ear at the right time. I'm delighted to have assisted you in finding mating partners. Is there anything else you wish to discuss? Any other processes? I must decline at the moment. In truth, I find all of them fascinating. We could be here all day. I'm chatting with you. Nice chatting. Okay, so you leveled up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the only thing we can level up is to increase stat pools, and then you go to tier 2? Okay, and now we know that this gives you 2 points. So we want to put 1 in speed because we want that to be an even number. But you're also our persuasion guy, which I believe is also intellect. So I think we have to put this point also into intellect. Unless instead we just put 2 points into intellect. But no, I'd rather get the speed to an even number first, I think. Issue challenge. Skill with defense or resourcefulness. Plus 1 training level in cipher use skill. Now let's just do this. Straight up, more stats. You also have a 40% evasion. We could, I was like, we could give you a shield. You already have a shield. Oh, quest items are just in everyone's inventory. I see. How about that? So you're tier 2. You're the highest level we have here. Interesting,
All right.
interesting. So there's nothing left in this area because I don't think we can go in the tower. That was probably something we could have done earlier. But this search is our main quest, but this is somewhat related to the main quest, right? She's going to know about the... I mean, maybe she doesn't know about our main quest, like how to fix the thing. So Cliff's Edge is the, like, outskirts of the city. I'm trying to decide where we want to go to next. I think we would choose the Underbelly last, only because that is the main story. Like, that's where we would want to go. I don't know if this is, like, going to be a dead end, or if this is going to, like, wrap back around to Cliff's Edge, if this is, like, just a big circle. I don't know if we should sell this thing yet either. What's the difference between item and oddity? Because we sold an oddity, and now I'm really regretting us having sold an oddity, knowing this one did something. But maybe it doesn't do anything. I also don't want to lose money, so I feel like we just have to hold on to everything. We just have to hoard things. Alright.
Of course.
We are almost done for the night. Still have 5 points in intellect to spend. I do kind of like this system of you can add bonuses to your dice rolls up to a certain limit every single day. We haven't rested yet, obviously, and there are items that can just restore those. Kind of an interesting way to look at it. Rather than just giving you a flat bonus, you get a flat bonus, and you can go above and beyond. Let's just go into the next zone. But not to talk to anyone. We'll probably be done there. Just in case something pops up. Oh, we don't know.
All right.
Nothing has immediately popped up to us. Tranquility. Illusion of privacy. Oh, this is the inn. See. Silver Orphan. What the heck? What is this? Omadon. Huh.
Of course.
Huh. Airship captain. Explorer. Okay, I think here's a good spot to stop. I can't use periods. Okay, so this is 2, because this one was 1. We're at the end of episode 2. Okay, yeah, I think that's a good place to stop. Can't click the button there.